Hello. Hello, everybody. Got some new music here. Gonna be getting started in just a minute. Whoop, 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 whoop. Gonna be getting started in just a minute here with Ironsworn episode 0. And we're gonna do a little review of the rules here. Review, quote unquote. So we're gonna learn how to play the game. Hopefully we're gonna have enough time to make characters and do the world creation together. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I don't know. We'll find out. I don't know how long this is gonna take. So we might have a episode 0, and then maybe next week, or maybe like tomorrow or something, maybe another time, I don't know. We'll have a make a world together stream. We'll see how things turn out. In the meantime, we're going to be getting started here in a few minutes. I'm going to leave you for the moment with some new music brought to you by Monster Cat, of course. This is Million Days by what is this artist name? Sabai, featuring Hoang, and Claire Ridge, I guess? I don't know, it's cut off. Here's the song. And we'll be getting started in just a moment.
I don't do this often, you caught me off guard. All of my friends said you moved out west. You tell me stories underneath sunsets. Could it be more than just one night? Kissing the cab ride, head turning left, right. Get a ticket for 2 to wherever you choose. Drinking some red out of the blue. You say my name with your accent, makes me remember how much I missed you. Hope you're planning to stay for a million days. You'll be my summer in December. Hey boy, trust my intuitions always. I'm not superstitious, I got lucky. Stole your heart and it was mine for the taking. I'm bad at pretending, you know I'll be true. Sunday mornings and midnight lights, turning to songs that you watched me write. Stole your sweater on that night, you took a picture, keep by my bedside. So you're mine when you're gone, baby, please don't be long. I got my ticket to the west side. You say my name with your accent, makes me remember how much I missed you. Hope you're planning to stay for a million days. You'll be my summer in December. Hey boy, trust my intuitions always. I'm not superstitious, I got lucky. Stole your heart and it was mine for the taking. It was mine for the taking. It was mine for a million days, in a million ways. Stole your heart and I got lucky. Stole your heart and it was mine in a million ways, for a million days.
Alrighty, name of that song was Million Days. So, that is potentially how long. Oh, see, this is why I need to turn the preview on because I opened to the wrong page. Potentially how long it's going to take to actually go through this rule book. Just kidding, it's not that long.
It's pretty long. I don't know. It's like 200 and some pages, man.
It's 270 pages, but here's the thing, man. A lot of that is tables, and we don't need to read all the tables.
Oh, okay.
So,
So I'm on page 3.
getting some
So-
echo here, by the way.
Oh, really? Okay, hang on one sec.
Yeah, mute the stream there. Yeah. All right. So, what are we doing today? What are we looking at? So this is Ironsworn. I have talked about it over and over and over and over and over to
And
no
over.
end, and over once more. It is a small indie RPG. Came out a few years ago. Won some awards for like, I don't remember what the awards were for, but it won them. It's a good one. I have played this game before, but it has been maybe like 8-9 months since I looked at it. It's been a hot minute. So, I think I remember saying on stream at one point that all you needed was 2d6. That's not accurate. I was remembering a different game.
Need at least 2d10. I've gotten that far in the rules.
You're right. Yeah. So that was not right. But the principle of the game is basically build characters. Characters are pretty simple to put together. Build the world. You select a bunch of stuff, which I will be more than happy to include chat on. So I think that'll be fun. And then we will roll some dice when stuff happens, Yeah. But yeah, it's a RPG that you can play in traditional, what they call guided mode, where you have players and you have a DM that's like facilitating the game. Facilitating is the phrasing that they use, I think. You can play cooperatively, which is where you have just players and nobody's being the GM. Nobody's like having to do that work. It's just distributed across everybody. And then you have solo play, where you can just play by yourself.
Yeah. In fact, it said that's like the preferred way to play. Which I thought was kind of weird.
I've done it, and it's pretty good. I've considered streaming. I've considered streaming like solo Ironsworn on like a Saturday or something, and then just do it all day, and like have people hop in and like vote on stuff whenever they're in.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I've seen that kind of done, not like with polls or anything like that, but I've seen that kind of done on some RPG streams before, and it's some pretty good content. It's pretty solid.
So without polls, do you just like be like, what should I do now? And then just like watch for all the spams in the chat and just be like, exactly. I picked that one.
Yeah. Or everybody can use the global emotes vote yay and vote nay.
Oh, okay.
It's the like green and red yay nay icon emoji things.
Nice.
Emotes.
Cool.
So that's another way to do it. But since I have polls, I'll probably just use the poll system.
Yeah, that works.
It's pretty easy to do. So yeah. But yeah, so I don't know how long this is gonna take, so I think maybe we skip the 20-minute warm-up, maybe. I'm kind of thinking maybe.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we can do that. I mean, we can just talk about stuff as it comes up in the chat and everything. Well, I mean, actually, before we skip entirely that, I know you did your marathon stream yesterday, right?
Oh, you want to talk about that? Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like I want like on Saturday. So like 16 hours. Like I don't think I can play any game
Um,
for quite that long. World of Warcraft might be the only game I can even approach that pinnacle with. But I'm
yeah.
more of like a 3-4 hour tops kind of guy here.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to post in a Discord, which now I can't use on my desktop because of video capturing stuff. It'll break everything and
Do you want me
show
to
people
post it
other things. No, I got it.
from the phone?
Yeah, I'll just do it from my phone. Twitch.tv slash Gaming. My autocorrect hasn't learned that one yet.
Mm.
That didn't properly format. That's not good. Edit. It's gonna make me http colon forward slash twitch.tv. There we go. Anyway, yeah. So yeah. All right. So here's the deal. A buddy told me, which I already told you this before I cut you off, and I said save it for the show, and then promptly told you that we weren't gonna do this.
Good
So
job.
I already,
Stick to your guns there,
yeah,
Pooch.
right. I know. Well, then I also realized that I need to give time for like people to show up and chat. So this is the point of doing this, is to kill time. Yeah. So I was told I was presented with humble encouragement and also a challenge. Dearest friend Kenny said to me,
Kenny.
"Hey, we I heard they did the the levelings a lot faster. I bet you could probably do it in a day."
I didn't even know that part.
Yeah. He said to me, "I bet you could probably do it in a day." To which I
Wait,
responded, I don't
1 to
know,
60?
maybe 1 to 50.
1 to 50.
1 to 50.
A day. Like
And
24 hours played or one physical day?
no, he meant
Those are
one. He
different.
meant like one day, like one
Mm,
calendar day.
mm,
Calendar? I don't. Whatever.
mhm.
One
Sure.
clock day. 2 clocks in 2 clocks worth of time.
Mhm, mhm.
So Kenny believes in me. I gotta respect that. I gotta respect that. So I took that. As, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it for Kenny. And I don't know why, because I don't think Kenny even remembered telling me that.
Sure. That
But
sounds like Kenny.
yeah, but he said it and it stuck. And I was like, well, here we go again. So it's not the first time that I've played WoW for a very, very, very long time in one sitting. Not by a long shot. Not by a long shot.
Sure.
But it is the first time that I streamed for almost 17 hours straight. So there was
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Which isn't like, I don't know, people do like 24-hour streams, and like people do all sorts of weird dumb stuff.
But
Like
they're kids still. They've got youth and endurance, and
no,
they've got no job the next morning, and they've got,
it's a lot of
you know.
people older than me. And like I did it on no, I didn't do it yesterday. I did it on Saturday. Or yeah, Saturday.
Sure, but I mean,
So I
at
was off
this
the next day.
age, it wears on me if I do something like that, even on a Saturday. It catches me 2 days later, let
Hey,
me
there
tell
are
you.
some streamers that are a good bit older than me that
Mm,
also do like 24-hour streams and stuff. So
yeah.
it's a thing. It's a thing. You just gotta prep for it. You gotta make sure you're. Which it didn't. To be clear.
Gotta get your
I didn't prep
colostomy
for it.
bag and everything,
No, I wouldn't recommend going that far just for that.
No, it's
But
necessary.
no, it's necessary. You gotta do it now. No, but I wish I had a better padded chair though. That would have been
Yeah.
good. I don't know.
Gotta get some pillows.
But
Down. That's my
I
favorite.
tried, but the only pillow that I have that like fits on the chair is either like it's just like too fluffy, and then I sit up too high, and the chair doesn't go down low enough,
Mm,
and then the keyboard tray is like hitting my
Yep.
knees, and anyway.
That's no good.
Anyway, well, it's fine. It's fine because I don't need to be sitting for like several hours straight anyway. I need to like get up and walk around. So that gives me the opportunity to run an ad break at the top of the hour every hour, and then there you go.
You need a standing desk.
That's also not a bad idea, but
Sit stand. Ergotron.
I mean,
Product
so
plug. Sponsor us.
if everybody that like watches watches this shares it with all of their friends and gets all of them to sub, then maybe at the end of the month, maybe if I have enough subs, then I can buy a stand-up desk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those
But
Ergotrons are
that's probably not
expensive.
gonna happen.
It's true.
No, that's probably not gonna happen.
No. But 2 months,
2
3 months,
though,
maybe
if I
something
save it.
like that. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But then
like
at that
for New
point, you
Year's,
might be
that'll
like,
my
"Is it
Christmas
worth
present.
it?" Like,
No, I won't spend it on that. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, probably not.
Although
Like,
that
I'll
would
deal
be
with the
funny
back
during
pain.
the gaming streams if I put that up as like a goal, because I updated
Yeah.
the goal, so it's now at 100 followers. But then I quickly realized that I could just put a sub goal too. That would be better for me. So there's that. But hey, follows still super help. So there's that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll just leave it, mostly because I don't feel like changing it, and I feel like having 2 of those would be annoying. So we'll ignore it.
Yeah. I get that. I mean,
But yeah. So yes, I leveled a paladin on Saturday. I did a whole lot of leveling a paladin on Saturday, and not a whole lot of anything else.
so
So
where'd you get to?
So I finally crashed out. I started at 10 a.m.
Mhm.
Central.
Level 1?
Yes. So here was the thing. It got a little complicated because I wanted to level a Dark Iron Dwarf, but Dark Iron Dwarfs start at level 10. And I thought that
That's
felt like cheating.
Oh.
So I leveled a regular Dwarf Paladin, like dwarf, not the Dark Iron Dwarf. I leveled a regular Dwarf Paladin through the new leveling, like the new character introduction zone.
There's a new zone?
Yeah, it's a new like intro like tutorial zone kind of thing. It takes you 1
Wow.
to 10, and it took about an hour.
Wow. And
So
you felt like that was cheating.
I felt like skipping it was cheating because it's not level 1, it's level 10, and it didn't feel good. I didn't like it. So I spent about 30 minutes setting up my UI on the Dark Iron Dwarf, and then realized it felt like cheating. So I switched over to the regular dwarf. Spent about 10 minutes doing the same thing on that one, but then like I was like, I don't care about all this. I don't need voodoo set up. I don't need whatever, it's fine. And so yeah, I just ran through that. That took me about an hour, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do Warlords of Draenor. So I got back onto the Dark Iron Dwarf Paladin, deleted the original dwarf, and then deleted the original dwarf, and then I did the like 35-minute intro to Warlords of Draenor, which gives very, very little XP and takes forever.
Sure.
Yeah, so that was a little obnoxious. And then started leveling for the next like 15 hours.
Nice.
Yeah. So I finally for some of you watching, some of you might have been there. I don't remember exactly what it was. I want to say it was around like 1:30 in the morning. I finally crapped out after, and only after, the realization that I had leveled for the last I had leveled from 40 to 44 with the level scaling off somehow. I turned the level scaling off. I don't know. I have no clue how I did it, but I turned off the level scaling. So all of the quests stayed at level 40. I quested 4 levels doing
Wow.
like reduced XP stuff.
So you almost did do it in one day then.
If I hadn't screwed that up, then yeah, I would have. I would have easily, because that was like
It's
that
not
was
even
like
a whole
6
day.
hours.
That's actually pretty impressive. I didn't realize that it would go that quickly.
Yeah, so that was that whole like level 40 to 44 kerfuffle was probably about 6 hours. And it
Oh
should not
wow.
have taken 6 hours. It should have taken like
Yikes. Yeah.
yeah, it should have taken like 4
No
ish.
kidding. Wow. So
If you actually
it
no,
it
a lot less than that.
it really is a lot faster than.
It's crazy fast.
Wow. I didn't realize that at all.
Oh, it's so much faster. Yeah, so
Huh. So they just want you to get to the end game at this point.
yeah, pretty much. So basically, how it works now is you like start the game, you do the intro quest, or you do like a regular like starting zone. That gives you 10 levels, like a Goldshire or like
Sure.
whatever, the
Yeah.
old starting zones.
Mhm.
That gets you to level 10. Then you go talk to Chromie in Stormwind or Orgrimmar. And then
Mhm.
Chromie has you select a timeline, and that timeline is the different expansions.
Hmm.
So you do Cataclysm, which
No.
is like the revised, like the updated
Okay.
classic content. And then
Gotcha.
you have Burning Crusade, Lich King,
Sure.
Mop, and so forth and so yeah, Warlords and Legion. So I did Warlords because Warlords is the fastest by a long shot.
Mm.
The reason being for that is that there's a bunch of treasures, like just like
Yeah.
hidden clickies and
They
stuff
give
that you
you
can find.
extras,
They
extra
give you
XP,
a
right?
ton. Let me tell you, my dude. Those treasures were giving me, like just run over and click it real quick. They were giving me anywhere between half to like a full quest worth of XP.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, and in some areas like Gorgon, there was parts where when I was nearly done with the zone, it just had me fly around and I picked up probably like 8 or 9 of them in a row. And it was just like, go here. Okay, 200 yards that way. All right, 300 yards that way. 200 yards that way. You go, click it. Cool, done. Next quest. Cool. Click it. Done. All right, cool. Like, there was a point where I was like, oh, are we going back to questing now? Like, oh, neat. I remember quests. Do y'all remember quests? Do you remember objectives besides get the treasure? So, that was,
Wow.
yeah, that was pretty crazy. I got through, let's see, I got through 2 zones, like completely finished the first 2 zones, the Shadow Moon Valley and Gorgrond. And then I got like I think completely done with Taldor. And then I got completely done with Taldor. And then that's when I like around that time I realized that like, oh, my quest, like the scaling's been off. Oh, everything's super screwed up. Oh god, what have I done?
Mm. Did you say
And
Warlords of Draenor or Battle for Azeroth?
Warlords of Draenor.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like the questing and like the zones and like I think the
Yeah.
start of that expansion, like what it launched with, was
Mhm.
incredibly good.
Mhm.
It was
Mhm.
so good.
And I
But
didn't
then
I
like
didn't
the
even
patches
play
and
that
stuff
one
after
when it
that were
first came
not.
out. I played it later, but it was still pretty fun.
Yeah, the base stuff was super good.
Mhm.
The Tanan jungle was also
Yeah.
like pretty okay.
Mhm.
But like it was so long before like the Blackrock Foundry came out, and
Mhm.
Blackrock Foundry lasted forever, and then it was like so long until Hellfire Citadel came out, and then Hellfire Citadel lasted forever as well, and just really overstayed its welcome. I
Mm.
think. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't remember, but I just remember it being like I'm ready for something else to happen. So,
Yeah.
hi Shirley.
Fooch says hi. She says hi.
Yeah. So yeah, it was an interesting expansion. But if you want to level super quickly, that's the way to go. So I still recommend it. The very next day I logged in and some of the guildies were like, "Hey, we're leveling new characters. Don't suppose you wanna?" And of course
Like,
my
call
reaction
me when
was,
you get to 50.
yeah, of course my reaction was, yes. So I started leveling a rogue. I started leveling a rogue and just like crying the whole time. It's just like, I don't want to do this again, man. I don't want to do this again. So I started off, I was like, you know what, I haven't done in forever. I haven't done Cataclysm. So I was like, I'm gonna do Cataclysm, and the first zone it sent me to was the wetlands. And
Ooh.
one of the first quests was like, hey, go into this small lake and farm like this stuff from this riverbed. And I just swim around this like large lake area in swim speed with no extra movement, and like pick on stuff that with no ranged attacks and all of that stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm fucking done with this place.
Just like, I hate every part of this.
So I was just like, yeah, I just went back to Stormwind and I was like, Chromie, send me to a different timeline. I don't want to do this. Send me to Legion. So I flipped back over to Legion and started doing Legion stuff. Wait, did I go to Legion? Where did I go? I think I went to Legion. Yeah, I went to Legion and I started like doing Legion stuff, and then I was just like, all right, cool, I'm done with this.
Legion was another pretty good one. I like that expansion
Yeah.
quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
Even though they got rid of like having like separate weapons,
Yeah, but they
which I
give you
thought was
cool
going to be a
ones.
drawback, but it was pretty fun still.
They were like super cool weapons though, and some of them were
Yeah,
like
and see, to me, that's what
incredibly
made it good
like
because
lore relevant weapons.
I've never really had like a good like rating character or anything, so
Mm-hmm.
I was never able to get any of the really cool weapons. So this kind of gave me the ability to have like a cool weapon and then not need to like be totally dedicated to rating and everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was just kind of a cool expansion.
It was pretty good.
Anyway,
All right, let's do the
for
thing.
sure. Yeah, let's get into this. Explain.
Okay.
So far I'm on page 4.
All right. So how this
And
is gonna be is I have a cropped window of the same, like all of what I have for Discord, for my like Adobe Acrobat Reader. So,
okay.
which is not the best thing for PDF viewing apparently, but is like what we're using. So, all right. Here's Ironsworn. Oh, by the way, I just want to say this before we get started. This art though, is so good. Like the photographs that they use. By the way, these are all photographs.
Oh, really?
So good. Yes.
Like a picture? It's not a painting?
No.
Huh.
Like, oh my god, so good. Okay. Okay, so here's the image credits. I do actually want to point this. Stock image elements from iStock. Lol. And Shutterstock.
Really?
Yeah, apparently. But like, damn. Like, he picked,
They must
who
have
is it, Sean
searched for a
Tompkins?
while.
Yeah, Sean Tompkins, who made this game, picked the most incredible like pictures. They're so good. So yeah. All right, so we're gonna go through and basically like learn how to play this game, and hopefully
Cool.
by the end of it we'll have characters in a world. We might, maybe not though. So I want everybody to know ahead of time that I have no idea how long this is gonna take. All right, playing Ironsworn, and make sure I have the size properly so people can read it. Is that legible on the stream? Somewhat cool.
I mean, I think it's fine.
All right,
But
no, I'm not gonna read this whole thing. So I'm gonna just kind of like hit the highlights and then actually read the stuff that needs to be read. Yes, this is dice-based papers, please. Um, Yeah, so this is the three like modes that we were talking about: guided, co-op, and solo. Ironsworn is primarily intended for solo and small group play. 1 to 4 players plus a GM in guided mode is ideal. The characters portrayed by other players are referred to in these rules as your allies. What do you need? Make sure you have 2 10-sided die for each player. These are your challenge die. 1 6-sided die for each player. That is your action die. Optionally, another pair of 10-sided dice you can use as Oracle dice. Oracle dice become a lot more important if you're not using a GM. A printed character sheet. We don't need printed character sheets because rules money.
Oh, I was about to say I was out of ink.
For each player, and asset cards available at ironswornrpg.com. So again, we have like handouts, and like the page on Roll20 is going to handle all of that. If you like this game and you want a physical copy of it, they do have asset card decks and I think Oracle like guides where you can buy like physical cards for the assets. And I gotta say, I'm real tempted to buy them, even though I don't play these games like in person ever. But it's real tempting because they look real sick. So
Is it okay?
yeah.
The asset card. So I don't even know enough about the game to make a decision on that yet. You got to explain.
Well,
more
yeah.
before
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that yet. We'll get there. All right. Mechanics in fiction. Ironsword uses various mechanics, such as rolling dice and managing the stats and resources on your character sheet. Managing stats and resources is the like primary thing that you're doing. You will roll die and then adjust your resources and then do stuff like that and then figure out what happens there. As a player, you'll often make decisions based on a desired mechanical outcome. For example, you might choose a particular action to get a bonus roll, to get a bonus on your die roll. The basic mechanics of Ironsworn are introduced in this chapter. It's heavily reliant on fiction. Make sure you're making stuff up and make sure that you're interpreting actions in a way that is consistent with the dramatic fictional reality you have forged for your story and your world. More on forging those when we get to the actual setting stuff. The setting. Anyway, the setting. Default setting for the adventures is the Ironlands. That is only the default setting. Mind you, you can make your own setting as much as you want. It is a rugged peninsula of isolated communities and untracked wilds on the frontier of the known world. You learn more about the setting starting on page 111. For now, here's a summary of the base assumptions. 2 generations ago, your people were driven to the Ironlands from their former homes on the Old World. The weather is harsh, winters are brutal, the rugged terrain makes travel and trade difficult and dangerous. There are no thriving cities. Instead, Ironlanders live in isolated villages or steadings. Their homes are modest buildings of wood, stone, and thatch. Many areas of the Ironlands are unexplored and uninhabited, except by the Firstborn, being such as elves, giants, and the wolf-like Varu. I think that's how that's pronounced. I don't know. Coins of little value. Most commerce is made through barter and favors. Some communities remain isolated and independent, while others trade in basic goods such as iron, grain, wood, livestock, wool, and coal. There is a diverse mix of peoples and cultures in the Ironlands, even within a single community. You can envision your character and those you interact with unbound by considerations of geography, lineage, sexual orientation, and gender. This one actually kind of leads back, and I think they do a good job here, with the idea that everybody that's here kind of just came here as exiles from the old world. So if the old world was vast and metropolitan and like all over like a large area, and there's lots of separate cultures, and everybody kind of came here as exiles, then it makes perfect sense that there would be a lot of different types of people that came here. So
Sure.
I just want to point that out because I feel that like that's a good like layered thing that they did there. That Sean Tompkins did here, I should say. Not they. One person. Should give him credit.
Sean Tompkins.
Yeah,
You did
great
it again.
game. Large scale warfare is. Oh wait, no, sorry, I skipped on. Communities sometimes band together under a powerful leader, but there are no kingdoms. Territorial lines are sketchily drawn, if at all. Large scale warfare is unheard of, but raiding parties and skirmishes between communities are a constant menace. Some communities subsist entirely on raiding. Spear, axe, shield, and bow are the dominant weapons. Swords are rare and highly prized. Some warriors choose to wade into battle clad in iron, while others trust in their prowess or in the strength of their shields. Magic is subtle and mysterious. Mystics seek to ward away the darkness through the practice of magic, but often succumb to it. Rituals are performed as blessings and to gain insight. Supernatural creatures and beasts are rare, frightening, and dangerous. So those are the base assumptions of the game. Part of the world building is looking at things such as like it says magic is subtle and mysterious. The game proposes you 3 prompts and then leaves a fourth with a blank to discuss as players whenever you start a new world. Such as like, do you want to do a more high magic? Do you want to do a like medium magic or like a low magic kind of setting? Is basically what it comes around to. But it's particularly like it's spelled out and detailed in a way that I really appreciate, and then it also adds potential quest hooks for each option. So it'll be like high magic, and like one of the options will be like high magic, and then it'll give you a like quest hook if you want to go with the high magic thing. So you'll make a bunch of, I think it's like 9 different choices about the world, and then you'll have 9 potential quest hooks for something to start with, which is super great. You're encouraged to make Ironsworn your own and to bend the setting to your liking. Your version of the Ironlands will be unique because you define the aspects such as history of your people, magic, mythical beasts, and more. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. Basically, it's like, make your game how you want it. Use different genres, like make different assumptions. Like, these are the base assumptions. Please, please, please play around with them. That's what the game wants you to do. One thing that you can't really play around with, or change, I should say. You can play with it. You have to play with it, is vows. So vows are an enormous part of this game. They basically serve as quests, and they're not only quests, but they are progress. They're how you mark progress in the game. In Ironlands, a vow is sacred. When you declare a solemn promise to serve or aid someone, or complete a personal quest, your honor is bound to that vow. Abandoning and recanting an oath is the worst sort of failure. When you swear a vow, you touch a piece of iron. It can be an iron coin, a weapon, or armor. It's an old tradition. Some say the iron, a piece of the primal world, serves as a conduit to the old gods, so they may better hear your promise. Vows are at the core of Ironsworn, is your view and your drive. It is your vows that drive you. Wow, what? These goals create the context for your adventures and challenges. As you complete vows, you gain experience and new abilities. So yeah, this is how you gain XP, is by completing vows. When you create your character, you start a background vow. When you set up your campaign, you envision or encounter a inciting incident which triggers a new vow. So we're going to start with a background vow that's unique to your character. So we'll both have separate ones. And then we'll have an inciting incident, which is going to give us a like a quest for
vow.
us to, yeah, it'll be something that we can decide like what the inciting incident is going to be, and we can decide whether it's going to be something that's going to take like a long time, or if it's something that we want to just like wrap up in a single session. There's options and mechanics for that, and like different rewards for how difficult or how lengthy we make the vow. There are several prompts for vows associated with the details of the world in Chapter 4, and with foes and encounters on Chapter 5. You can select something that fits your vision for your world and your character's goals, or just come up with something yourself. If you're playing in co-op mode, you and your fellow players may have shared vows or personal vows. So again, that's another option. If you're playing with other people, you can select background vows that like line up with other people's, or even you can select background vows that oppose other people's if both people are okay with it. Oh, drop Dylan there.
Oh, why this laptop keeps doing that?
I don't know, but anyway. So only,
Sorry.
I would say only if, as a general rule, only if both people agree to it, should you ever take adversarial vows. And try not to do them in a way where they're mutually exclusive. if you can find a way for both of you to write vows which are seemingly opposing but not mutually exclusive, then you can find a way to like make it work for everybody, and that could be a really good story. But don't just do like, I want to kill this person, and
Sure.
then the other person be like, I want to save this person. I mean, because for
So,
one, what do you mean save? Like, if they live
mm,
forever and then your vow was
mm.
achieved, like, when does it end? But anyway,
Yeah, so that kind of brings up a good point. Like we
sure.
pick our own vows, right?
Yes.
So like do you is I guess like if it's not a GM who's monitoring this, like how do you determine whether or not a vow is like worthy to be a vow, or if it's like too too difficult to be a vow, right?
Well,
Like I
so
mean, is that just like based on your experience, like knowing like, okay, I don't want to do this
so
kind of
there's a
vow
couple of
because that's
things.
impossible.
There's a couple of things. There are like difficulty categories for vows. So if you want to
Mm,
do something ridiculous like um defeat the most powerful swordsman in the world,
mm,
like that's your background vow. Okay,
mhm,
that's going to
mhm,
take a long time. Like that's
sure.
fine. If you're okay with like resolving that over the course of a whole campaign, then yeah,
Mhm,
that would be
mhm,
like a legendary or whatever the equivalent is. I don't remember the names for the difficulties, but a
sure.
like top tier, like extremely difficult vow.
It's
Um,
troublesome, dangerous, formidable, extreme, and epic, right?
Epic. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think yeah, that
No,
sounds right. So
sure.
it'd be an epic vow, which makes sense because that would make for an epic story. So
Mhm,
that wouldn't be something that you'd resolve in like a couple of sessions. Something
mhm,
like an epic vow is going to take a long time.
sure.
Um, so we'll get to it when we actually look at our background vows, but we're going to keep in mind we're probably going to have 4 sessions worth of game time, so roughly like 12 hours to resolve whatever the vows are. We're going to get more vows. That's just how the game works. We're just going to end up swearing more vows besides our background vows. So
Mhm,
it's not like we'll only have one objective each that we need to work on, or one
sure.
objective each like of our own stuff, and plus the inciting incident. We can do this in a way where the inciting incident leads us on a long quest over the next like several sessions, or you can do it where the inciting incident just gets us to like just gets us through like the end of the first session, and that's it, and then we're good from there. So I mean, however we want to do it. But we'll get to like how like the actual like structure of the vows and how they're graded in a little bit. Next, you have your character. Character is, I'll summarize all this. The character is basically a couple of things. You have stats, you have sometimes equipment, and you have assets. Assets are your like skills and abilities, and like all of that stuff, all of the like D&D like character stuff that you would think.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
So I've been looking at this page for a hot minute here.
yeah.
Explain Edge, Heart, Iron, Shadow, and Wits to me.
So those are the. Are you in the Roll20 game?
No.
You're not in Roll20.
Well, I mean, I am. I haven't joined the game yet. Like I'm in Shaxum.
Uh, what?
No.
You're not. No,
Okay.
you're not on the game.
I clicked it. Hang on.
Hit join. Click it and then join game.
Which one though? Oh yeah, yeah. Launch game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It says upgrade in progress, so that's unfortunate. All right.
Upgrade in
Give it.
progress. What?
Yeah. I swear.
Oh.
Let's see. Yeah, upgrade in progress. um. So anyway, though,
Hold on. Let me make sure I'm in the right game. Um,
maybe it's a different one. I just picked the new one for me.
Ironsworn stream. Well, in the style of Ironsworn stream.
No. Is it did you invite me to it?
I sent you the link in
Yeah,
Discord.
that's what I clicked when I joined. Hang on. Doo-doo-doo-doo. hang on. Let's give it a minute. But in the meantime, why don't you explain what the 5 stats are?
So the 5 stats are, well, I have to multitask here, which requires I have another window open over that. So 1 second, chat. I'm gonna switch to this window. We're not actually going anywhere. Just give me 1 second.
Ah, here we go. I got the Ironsworn stream now. It's because I had my default browser set to Edge instead of
Gross.
Chrome. Yeah, yeah, I know, right? I just haven't fixed it yet. Anyway.
Okay. Oh, and then if you want to, remember to change your display name on there in the settings. If you want to. It's up to you.
Good call. Thanks, man.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a character sheet here. And I'm going to give me a character sheet. And
Keith Cathalono.
thank you, sir.
Mm.
Yeah, so we have we have a bunch of stats. What are we looking at? A bunch of stats. Okay, so Edge, Heart, Iron, Shadow, and Wits. This is what the character sheet looks like. It's a little different on Roll20. Let me pull that back up. Which, oh, they actually updated this. Hot damn.
Yeah, that was actually one of my questions I was gonna have for you, like early stream was how good is this game in Roll20 as compared to tabletop?
What do you mean?
Like, I mean, like some games I feel better as the tabletop version. Maybe it's just a preference. I don't know.
I don't
But
know. I haven't played it like I haven't played like
in
the physical game before. I've only played on
only
Roll20.
played in Roll. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's good. Like to me, like I love like D&D. There's good parts of Roll20, and then there's good parts on doing it as a tabletop version. Like the Roll20 version's cool because you can kind of like you can work with the lighting when they're going through a dungeon and like
Oh, I love
obscure
that so
things.
much. Yeah.
Whereas on the tabletop version, it's really difficult to do that if you're trying to like draw out a map for them
Oh,
as
yeah.
they're journeying through like a dungeon, right?
Yeah, and
But
someday when I get a new computer and it doesn't completely destroy everything about my machine, we'll come back to doing like one of my very complicated like with all the lighting, all the dynamic lighting, like
and
Pathfinder 2 sessions.
I've played with you in a few of those, and like
Oh.
they honestly they look really good, but at the same time, like when it destroys your computer, that's not ideal.
I loves me some production in the game, like in the like wherever I can like make something just like I want it
Mhm,
to look better. I want it to look better.
sure,
But sometimes I'm like very limited with my tools. Roll20 gives me some pretty damn good tools.
sure,
But yeah,
and there's some things that I
sorry.
can think of, and maybe it's just my like like naivety in knowing what Roll20 has available because I've never been on like the GM side of it.
Yeah.
But
Maybe I'll do a like a thing one of these days where I just like here's how I build a dungeon.
yeah, that'd be cool, I think.
Yeah.
But just like I think in like regular tabletop D&D, it's easy to like build a puzzle for people to kind of work their way through if it's like a cipher or something on like a note. Because you can give them a note and then based off of like what they
Yeah.
roll on their knowledge check, you fill in some of the word or letters or something, you know.
Yeah. All right.
So I
So
don't know.
let's keep
Sure.
going because it's 270 something pages.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
all
Keep it
right.
up.
So that's the character sheet. Next we have moves.
Mhm.
So moves are basically like things that you'd roll on. Think like skill checks or like saves
Mhm.
in D&D.
Sure.
Except these are like a lot more broad as general terms. So there's a couple of categories. There's adventure moves, relationship moves, combat moves, suffer moves, quest moves, and fate moves. So these are all they have specific triggers phrased as when you blank, and then your character does a thing, or you encounter that situation. Refer to the move to see what happens. Generally, it's considered kind of the flow of the game where you it's kind of the flow of the game is you go through the narrative until you encounter something or you purposefully trigger something that is defined as a move, and then you roll to see what happens. So you want to like, let's say you're trying to like you know what, I'll save the examples till we get to like the actual like definitions of those, right?
Sure.
um so most moves are based on a
Mm.
risky action you're taking. You're attacking with a sword, making a dangerous climb, or healing an ally. These moves use dice to determine the outcome. This is called an action roll.
Mhm.
Some moves measure your headway against an extended challenge, such as a journey or fight, using a progress track. Progress tracks are very, very important. They're how you track progress. I know, right? Um, And when you're ready to resolve the challenge, you make a progress roll. What does that mean? We'll get into more detail, but progress rolls are basically how you decide to. When you decide you're ready to try to complete something, then you do a progress roll. The more stuff that you have done, the more ticks that you have in the boxes, and the more stuff that you have filled in, the better your chances of actually succeeding. Other
Mhm.
moves utilize different kinds of die roll called an oracle roll. This
Cool.
is what lets you play the game solo and co-op. These moves are
Mhm.
determine the outcome of uncertain events of out of your character's control. If you're playing solo or co-op, you can ask the Oracle move to answer questions about the world, resolve how other characters respond, or determine what happens next. So this becomes super critical if you're not using a GM. That's the
Mhm.
whole mechanism.
Mhm.
And we'll look at what does Ask the Oracle look like, and what do those tables look like in
Mm.
a little while.
Sure.
Some moves don't require a roll. They might require support or reference a separate move, or simply have it help you resolve a mechanism or narrative situation. Don't roll the dice unless the move tells you to. To
Mm.
learn more about moves on page 49, blah, blah, blah. This is the format for the moves. Again, the one of the versions of the physical game that you can get is has these as cards, so you can use them as handouts, put them on the table, and if people like forget how something works, you can just hand it around the table and say, "Oh, I think you're doing
I
this. So here's
I
the
think
gather information card."
your PDF hasn't updated to the correct page. It's still on the character sheet page.
That's because I didn't change it. Right.
There you
Sorry.
go.
There you
Yeah.
go.
No worries.
Yeah. So
Cool.
this is, for example, gather information. Here's the move when it triggers. When you search an area, ask questions, conduct an investigations, or follow a track, roll plus wits. This is like
Mm.
with your wits bonus. If you act within a community or ask questions of a person with whom you share a bond, add plus one. So this is adds
Mm.
a conditional like
Sure.
optional bonus. If you pursue this move in this particular way, you can take a bonus on it. And then it tells you what happens when you roll. On a strong
Sure.
hit, which we'll cover, on a strong hit, you discover something helpful or specific, the path you must follow, or an action you must take in order to make progress is made clear. Envision what you learn, or ask the oracle if unsure, and take a plus two
Mm.
momentum. So that ask an oracle if unsure is a very fun way to be like, I mean, I'm not really sure what like to do in this situation, or I don't really know what makes sense. So let's roll
Mhm.
on the ask the oracle table, and then you roll
Mm.
on that, and then it's like, oh, okay, here's a surprise plot twist, or like, oh, okay, this makes sense. We can do like this thing. On a weak hit, most of the time, weak hits are what you get on stuff. This is the most common thing. On a weak hit,
Mm.
information complicates your quest or introduces a new danger. Envision what you discover, ask the oracle if unsure, again, This is how you do this without a GM. And take +1 momentum. On a miss, your investigation unearths a dire threat or reveals an unwelcome truth that undermines your quest. Pay the price. So, like it says here, when a move is referenced within another move, you'll see it italicized. So, looking at this, pay the price and ask the Oracle are in italics. That's because those are moves. Those are other moves. So, pay the price is another move that has the same card like this, which has like instructions for what stats you use and like what bonuses you could possibly have, and then what happens on a strong strong hit, weak hit, or a miss. So
cool. So, what's a strong hit and a weak hit?
I'm so glad you asked, so I could scroll down.
Oh, you're welcome for setting up the next page.
Oh, you good, dog, you good. This is great. The action roll. All right, when you make a move representing a risky uncertain action, you roll 3 dice. So this is the core mechanism right here. You have the challenge die, which are the two 10-sided die, and then you have 1 6-sided die. This is your action die. The action die is like how well you do. The challenge die is basically what you have to beat. Add your relevant stat to your action die. So we said for this one, it's what? Plus wits? Gather information is, yes, plus wits. The move will tell you which stat to add or may give you a choice. Some moves actually give you a choice between multiple different stats, depending on how narratively you're combating the challenge, right? Some moves will tell you to use one of your tracks, such as health or supply, in place of a stat. Based on the move or your character's assets, you may also have an opportunity to apply one or more bonuses called adds. We could just call them bonuses. The game calls them adds. I don't know, whatever. Bonuses.
Bonuses
The total
are trademarked by Wizards of the Coast, I think.
I don't know that that's true. I don't know that that's true. Yeah, so you may add blah 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 blah. The total of your action die, your stats, and any adds is your action score. Your action score is never greater than 10. Anything over that is ignored. So if you have like an 11 somehow, neat. It's a 10. To determine the outcome of your move, compare the action score to each of the challenge die. You want to be greater than the individual value of those dice. So when you roll these 2 10-sided dice, you're not adding them together. You're looking at them individually. So let's say we rolled a 3. Our stat is a +2. We got the 1 bonus for knowing the guy that we're talking to. So we get a total of 6. So we compare that 6 to the 4 and the 8 that we rolled in the D10. It beats the 4. It doesn't beat the 8. So this is how the strong hit, the weak hit, and the miss work. If you beat both of the die, you get a strong hit. If you only beat one of them, it's a weak hit. And if you lose against both of them, it's a miss.
Okay, so who rolls the challenge die and who rolls the action die?
The person doing the action should roll the action die. It doesn't matter who rolls the challenge die.
Okay.
In Roll20, it will roll all 3 of them together for you.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm glad you did that clarification at the end because I was kind of lost for a second there.
Okay. So I'll leave this part up on the stream for a minute. Cool. And anybody, any other viewers out there, anybody in chat, if you want to follow along with this, we're only on page 8. Go to ironswornrpg.com and go to downloads. This game, the PDF for it, at least, is free. Just go and download it, and you can follow along, and then you can play your own game on Roll20. Just make your own game on Roll20, or if you have like a pen and paper and you're going to print stuff out, and if you happen to have 2d10 and a d6, you can just do that. Assuming you have the paper to print it out.
Please.
The move will tell you how to interpret. I was too proud of that. I couldn't keep a straight face. The move will tell you how to interpret the outcome of the actions or offer you a choice. It may include mechanical changes to your character's status, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, like it says, you just refer to the move. Just refer to the move. So this was a weak hit. So on a weak hit, the information complicates your quest or introduces a new danger. Envision what you discover, but take +1 momentum. tie always goes to the challenge die. Here's another clarification. Tie always goes to the challenge die. Your action score needs to exceed, not equal. So meet does not beat the challenge die to count as a hit.
And the challenge die are the D10s, correct?
Yes, the challenge die are the D10s. So those are the
Got
things that you're rolling against.
Okay.
When you roll for a move, you should be on the lookout for a match on the challenge die. In cooperative and solo play, this is your trigger to add a twist, create new complication, or otherwise mix things up. Sometimes interesting, unexpected, or unusual things happen. If you're unsure, you ask the Oracle, which is a move. Which is a move used to ask questions or check for interpretation. If playing with a GM, a match on the challenge die can be their prompt to introduce a surprising turn of events. The outcome of a match should be evaluated based on the results of your move. A strong hit means the match should represent a twist in the narrative, something interesting or a new opportunity. A doubles on a miss. So basically, since the die are the same, you're obviously going to beat both of them, or you're going to miss both of them. So you can only get a strong hit or a miss if the two challenge die are the same number, if that's matches.
Right.
So think of it as like a critical hit or a critical miss, kind of. But typically, instead of getting like extremely exaggerated results, it's going to be a twist, either a positive twist or a negative twist. Sometimes this is how GMs play, like crits in like D&D. Sometimes people play them that way anyway, so it's a pretty close approximation.
So if you get a strong hit, does that mean you would usually go to an Oracle die if you're playing the co-op mode or the solo mode?
It depends on what you're doing.
Like when it's doubles,
if it's
right?
real obvious, if it's like really obvious what the outcome is, then you might not even need to consult the DM. It might just be like, oh, well, like, okay, you just deal an extra progress box. Like you just fill in an extra progress box on like this fight or something.
So no, what I'm referring to is like if you're playing in the co-op or the solo mode, there is no GM, right? So if you do the strong hit or the miss on the doubles, do you just immediately go to an Oracle die or something after that? Or
You can. It depends. Like the way.
just
So I've
kind
played
of
this.
depends on how you view the
Yeah.
situation.
I played this co-op with Elegante, and then we also played co-op with like 4 people. And I kind of like pseudo GM'd the like 4-person group. But mostly it was like a lot of Oracle die. And I found particularly with the 4-person group, which makes a lot of sense, that people generally had ideas for plot twists. So we didn't have to rely as much on the Ask the Oracle move with like 4 people as much as we did with 2 people. With 2 people, it was a fair amount of like, I don't what should happen here? Do you have anything? Yeah, I got something. We can do this. Like, okay. So, yeah.
Okay.
So it depends. I mean, the answer is it really depends on the situations. Sometimes it's pretty clear like what should happen, and you don't need to roll anything at all. If you're playing as a GM, you can focus on guiding the game and responding to your players' questions. Since NPCs don't make moves, you won't need to make action rolls. However, you might want to have a pair of D10s available for Oracle rolls. So, here's another thing that some of these types of games do a lot better than others. Is the GM in this style of game can really just sit there and focus on the story. You don't have to manage like a ton of things in the background, like, oh, I have to roll for this character, I have to roll for that character, I have 14 different character sheets up for these like different NPCs and blah 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 blah. You might have detailed notes like that you want to reference for your NPCs, but you don't necessarily have to. And a lot of times you can really just sit there and focus on the narrative and say and look at the results of the die and have the players read out like the results of their rolls, and you just sit back and focus on the narrative. It makes it honestly a lot easier. Momentum. So in our example, we talked about like, well, you add momentum for like a weak hit, and right. So what is that momentum? Momentum is a
Mhm.
special mechanic which is central in playing Ironsworn. Your momentum ranges
Mhm.
from -6 to +10 and represents how you're faring in your quests. The move
Mhm.
results may tell you to increase or decrease momentum. Think of this momentum as like narrative momentum. The lower it is, the more your characters are kind of like um, they're a little off balance. They're not doing so hot. They don't have their shit together.
Mhm.
But the
Mhm.
higher it is, like at a, like a +10, it's like okay, everything's coming together. We got a plan. We're doing this thing. Like everything's
Mhm.
executing properly, and that's the it's a narrative momentum. The momentum track is on the left side of your character sheet. It might not be on the Roll20 sheets. I don't remember. You can use a paperclip or token to mark the current value. When you have positive momentum, things are going your way. You have the advantage. You're in control. Your path is clear. You are properly positioned for success. When you have negative momentum, the tide is turned against you. You face tough odds. You're outmatched. Your next steps are uncertain. Momentum persists through scenes and between gaming sessions. When you finish a session, write down your momentum value, then pick up where you left off when you return to the game. You gain moment. I have since chat's asking, I have notifications and stuff turned off for the shows. This one, since we're like reading through, is a little like more loosey goosey, and like I can talk to y'all a little bit more. But I am gonna put this up on YouTube, so I don't really want to like spam the YouTube video later with notifications. But I am watching, and I do see it, and I appreciate you. Thank you for the follow. Um, yeah. So, gaining momentum as an outcome or an option when making moves. Wait, you gain momentum. The rest of the things that I said, but started with you gain momentum. You can read it. This represents securing advantages, acquiring new insights, and making progress in your quests. If a move tells you to add momentum, phrased as take plus X momentum, increase your momentum track by the value indicated. Um, the choices you make in your move or the assets you use to support the move may modify the amount rewarded. In general, taking +1 momentum represents a minor advantage. Taking +2 momentum or more represents a major advantage. Losing
Whoa.
momentum, same thing. Typically, it's as a consequence to something. It's losing
Mhm.
leverage or other stuff. Yeah, like you get the idea.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So, like, how
Sure.
do you determine whether or not you gain momentum or not? Is it just based off of like how you feel the story's going, or
No,
is it
it'll be
like
a
an
direct
actual roll or something?
consequence. It'll be a direct consequence
Okay.
on a move, and it'll be listed.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. If you lose momentum as a result of a narrative outcome without a defined value, such as when you make the pay the price move, you should suffer a reduction appropriate to the narrative consequences. So again, it'll usually tell you like -1 momentum or potentially -2 momentum. But it depends on the situation. If you feel that it warrants it, then if the situation or if the thing tells you to do -1, but you really think that it warrants a -2, you can definitely just do a -2.
Mm. Okay.
Um, which this isn't necessarily a kind of game where it's just like, well, why wouldn't I just make it -1? Like, why would I ever upgrade it to -2? I mean, like, because it makes for a better story. Honestly, sometimes it just makes for a better story when it's just like, all right, we have this plan, and everything goes wrong.
Mm.
So sometimes we might actually just do that. We might just bump up the consequences of stuff.
Sounds cool.
Burning momentum. So I'm doing most of this in detail because momentum is
Burning.
not a thing that really has a very close analog in another game.
Yeah, I get it.
Um, yeah, so it helps to like go into this in a little bit more detail because it's very important. Burning momentum is a powerful option to build your success and deliver a decisive result or avoid dire failure. When you have positive momentum or after you roll your move, you may cancel any challenge dice that are less than your current momentum value. This gives you an automatic hit. So, the example here is this person has +6 momentum.
Mhm.
He rolls the challenge die, sees that he has a 5 and an 8. If he chooses to burn his momentum, he can cancel anything that's less than the momentum value. So he can cancel
Mm.
the 5, but he can't cancel the 8.
Hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's basically to stop from a complete miss, right?
Yeah, it's so you can kind of hedge your bets a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, I will say the one problem that I've seen with this is that um because you're only canceling like what's below that value, I have a
Hmm.
tendency to try to like hoard momentum until it hits a point where it's like, okay, I have +8 momentum. I'm just gonna cancel both of these die and like it's fine. I'll just take a strong hit.
Yeah.
The instance of using like this where it's like you have a +6
Hmm.
and you cancel one of the die. Well, if
Hmm.
you're rolling, like you might just have a better bonus than that anyway. So like you I mean, like you're gonna cancel the die that you wouldn't hit on anyway, so it doesn't add as much to it.
Right. So if this is the case and you burn your momentum, does that bring it back down to 0?
That's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
After you burn momentum, you must reset your momentum. See the next page for how that works.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
You've
burning
caught up to
momentum.
me. I'm like following along now.
Yeah. Burning momentum is never required, even if you score a miss on a move or have enough momentum to cancel the challenge die. You can choose to suffer the failure or save your momentum for a crucial moment. So you don't have to do it at any point. There's not a move or anything in there that tells you that you have to do it. Um, duh, 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 duh. I'm trying to find. There's a spot. I'm trying to find the spot where it says like
Do-do-do-do.
um I think in general you would want to like if I was playing this at the table, I roll the challenge die first and then ask if you want to do burn momentum before you roll it.
Mhm,
But in roll 20, it's not going to do that. It's just going to roll the challenge die along with the thing. So
mhm.
we'll get to see what our action score is before we decide if we want to burn momentum or not, which is
Sounds like an
fine.
advantage. I like it.
It's a little bit of an advantage, yeah, but it's fine. After you burn momentum, you must adjust your momentum track to your momentum reset value. The default is +2. This value may be
Mm,
lowered when your character suffers a debility. Debilities are conditions such as wounded, shaken, or unprepared. They are marked on your character sheet as a result of a move or narrative event. If you have one debility, your momentum is reset to +1. If you have more than one, it's reset to 0. It does not go below 0. So
okay.
if you have two, then you don't really need to worry as much about more
Yeah,
debilities
you
for
just
the purposes of momentum. There are more
just burn
consequences
that
though.
momentum.
Yeah. Well, it just
Oh,
means your momentum's
negative
not going to go
momentum
negative.
though.
Yeah,
Oh, here we
suffering
go.
negative momentum. When it's below
Mm,
0 and it matches the value of your action die, you must cancel your action die. Yeah. So you don't want it to go negative. You still check the success of your move by comparing it to your stat plus your adds on the challenge die, but you don't have your action die to help you. So, for example, let's say that you rolled a
wow.
4 over here. You have a +2 from your stat and a +1 from
Hmm.
like a second bonus.
Hmm.
If one of your action die is a 2,
Hmm.
your +2 from your stat and your
Cancel it.
+1 from the bonus would still beat it. So you still beat that one. Let's say the other die is like an 8. You don't beat the
Okay,
8, so you'd get a
sure.
weak hit still. So you
Weak
can
hit.
potentially still succeed without the action die. It's
Yeah,
just a lot harder.
sure. So, okay, then if you have a -6 momentum, say, then
Hmm.
you just don't even need to bother rolling.
Probably, yeah.
Right, because no matter what, you're just gonna choose your base stats, right? And if you have like a -5, the most you're gonna get is your base stats +1 if you roll a 6,
Yeah, the stats are going to be
right?
generally, I think, +2, +1, and 0, I think,
Okay.
are the bonuses. So that gives you like an idea of the ballpark you're working with for the stat
Cool.
bonus there.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, don't let the momentum track get super negative. It was real not good. If you can, if you, I mean, it's all die rolls, so like it's not like you can just like say, "Hey, I'm not going to let this happen." But try to use what advantages you have to make sure it doesn't happen. Your momentum cannot drop below -6. That is your minimum momentum. It tells you if a move tells you to lower your momentum and your momentum is already at minimum, you will instead face a setback move. You make the face a setback move. So that's another move where it's like here's a narrative event that happens and it's a list of bad things. As a result of that move, you reduce your health, spirit, or supply, or some combination thereof by that amount, or undermine your progress on the current quest, journey, or fight. Yeah, it's real bad. You don't want to face a setback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
Make moves such as secure an advantage to increase your momentum. So there are moves that are specifically designed to not necessarily give you progress towards a goal, but to increase your momentum. So think of it
Mm-hmm.
like these are typically moves or things that you would do to like set up for something,
Mm-hmm.
like scouting out an area and like gaining intelligence about like a place that you're about to go into would be an example of like securing advantage with like wits. So this would
Mm-hmm.
help you get more momentum before you go into that like enemy bandit camp. So you're like learning their patrols and stuff. And since you're learning their patrols, you have a better handle of the situation,
Mm.
which is what momentum is.
Okay.
Max momentum is +10 and is reduced by 1 for every marked debility. So if you have a debility, not only does
Oof.
your reset value
Mm-hmm.
go down by 1, but so does your max. You're spotting your character sheet to record your value. You can increase your maximum over time. If you are at maximum and a move gives you an option to increase your momentum, you just don't. Progress
Gotcha.
tracks. Okay, so there's a couple of things with progress tracks. Again, these are also very important, so we'll cover them in detail and we'll try to skip over the stuff that we don't particularly need.
Cool. Can I take 1 second to go to the restroom real quick?
Yes. Yes,
Cool.
you
Thanks. I'll be right back. Thank
may.
you.
Okay. Yeah. So what's up, chat? How's chat going? How's chat doing? Yeah. We'll cut this part from the bod maybe if I feel like editing. But yeah. So yeah, this is Ironsworn. This is I really enjoy this game. I've only gotten the chance to play it a couple of times, and by gotten the chance, I mean I've only played it a couple of times. You can play it solo, so like, hurry check his papers while he's gone. He might still have his headset on. I wasn't paying attention. Play Star Wars campaign. What system are you using? Using Homebrew 5e? Got a little bit of a stream delay here, so 5e. Yeah. Um, take a look at. I'm trying to remember who does it. I think it's Fantasy Flight. If you like looking for more like ideas or inspirations for like mechanics or stuff, there's I want to say it's a fight. I want to say it's a Fantasy Flight. Um, it's a Star Wars role playing game. It's got funky dice, so like the mechanics are might be kind of hard to port over, but it might help you come up with like ideas for stuff. Like ways to like import certain mechanics, like how to do like how do we do the Force or how do you do this or that. I mean, the Force kind of honestly that probably could be kind of easy to do in 5e. I mean, spells, right? I guess. I don't know, but that sounds neat. 527 page book. Holy crap, dude. Holy crap. That is a lot. This dude's got some serious papers. Please. But yeah, so custom spell is for force powers, and even made a space combat system custom. Nice. Um, Yeah, I made I made the majority of a like full campaign setting for Pathfinder 2e. Um, I went to the beach for like 3 or 4 days and just like went writing. I just like did this whole thing. It's super cool. I really like it. Someday, my players will actually get to see more of it than just the like initial area and the adjacent dungeon. So, and we got a Dylan.
I'm back.
He's back.
Thank
Okay.
you. When nature calls, you gotta
Yeah, no,
answer.
I get that. Yeah. Oh, probably could have done an ad break, but I was just sitting here chilling with chat. So, back to it.
Dope.
All right. A progress track is used to measure your pace and determine the outcome of goals or challenges in specific situations. When you hear swear an iron vow, now these are in italics, so remember italics means it's a move. So it'll have
Swear
like
it.
yeah, it'll have a like move that you roll on and all this stuff.
Mhm.
When you swear an iron vow, a progress track represents the challenge you overcome to achieve your ultimate goal. When you undertake a journey, a track represents how far you've gone and how favorable the travel has been. Enter the fray is a progress track that tracks your advantage as you weaken or wound your foes in combat. When you establish a new relationship with a character in your world and forge a bond, you mark your bond on a progress track. So progress tracks are basically anything that you would achieve like over a time or anything that there's like a reasonable measure to work towards something. You're going to use a progress track for it. So flipping over to Roll20 real quick, we can see that where is Streamlabs?
Do you see
There you
me
go.
rolling? They hate.
We can see on the character sheets, which chat, I'm not sure if you can read that particularly well, but on the character sheets you can see that a lot of the space on the like initial page here is for progress tracks. With the handy option here of adding more of them. They also added Vows and Threats, which come from the Delve supplement book, which I also bought a physical copy of because it is dope. It's for tracking. Delve includes stuff for having threats, which are like, or threats and menaces, which are like NPC antagonists. And delves themselves, which are like dungeons, which are basically a much more detailed version of the Undertake a Journey system. So, this is what progress tracks are. They are key. They are like core to this game. Along with that, we have challenge ranks. When you engage in a fight, initiate a journey, swear a vow, or you give your challenge a rank. Increasing the order of difficulty, the ranks are troublesome, dangerous, formidable, extreme, and epic. You or the GM will choose a rank appropriate to the situation and how quickly or easily it should be resolved. So that's another thing that you can do. Like I said, when we pick our like background vows, there's recommendations that your background vow not be troublesome because like this should be a journey like for your life. So formidable at the very least. But if we want to do like a simple quest, like this tradesperson is like, hey, my cart is broken and like there's wolves along the way. Can you take this stuff over the next village for me and give it to this guy and then bring me back like my gold or whatever, and then I'll pay you a cut of it.
Sure.
Which like in this world, why would anybody trust somebody else with their gold? But whatever. Like a simple quest like that might be like troublesome. Or maybe if it's like there's environmentals or like other hazards,
Extra
then
wolves.
you might do sure. you might up it to like dangerous or formidable. But we could also say like, okay, if this is the journey that we want to do for this session, then let's just make it dangerous. Or
Epic.
if we want to if we want this to be like okay, we're going to take this to the other side of the world, right? Or the other side of the
Mm,
continent. And this is going to be
sure.
like this epic, like, journey to the west kind of thing that we're doing, then yeah, it would be literally epic for the
Sure.
difficulty.
So like Odysseus's journey in the Iliad or the
Would be an
Odyssey,
epic. Yes,
that's
exactly.
epic.
Yeah.
Just like it's called an epic.
Yes, Dylan. Very astute.
You're welcome.
um, but
Explanations
yeah,
by
I mean,
Dylan.
yeah, I mean, literally, like that's what this is for, right? So if you want to frame like an arc in a story to be like, here's this grand, overarching, like incredible story. Um, if you want to do One Piece is
Mm,
gonna definitely be epic at the bare
mm,
minimum, right? But
for
if you want
sure.
to do
A
like,
thousand episodes. How could it not be epic?
oh my god, yeah, I know, right? Um, but if you want to do like, we're just gonna do season one of Dragon Ball Z
Mm,
without the filler. We're gonna do season one DBZ Kai, the first arc,
mm,
like no
mm.
filler, like whatever. You might just do Dangerous, like, right? You might just do Dangerous, maybe Formidable, maybe.
I mean, Vegeta was gonna destroy the planet.
It's
That's pretty
not
epic.
necessarily about how
I
difficult it is. It's about the amount of, like, here's the thing about it is like it says increasing order of difficulty, but it's not necessarily the order of difficulty. It's the amount of time and steps that you're going to put
Mm,
into resolving it. So
okay.
it's kind of somewhat misleading by saying challenge ranks, because it's not. It doesn't necessarily make them harder. It does in a certain way, but really what it comes down to is the amount of time that you're going to spend on that particular story arc. Um, so guidelines for foes, because remember these tracks are also used for Enter the Fray, which is combat. So guidelines for foes are given on a like foe by foe basis, like further on in the book. You give your vow a rank of appropriate to the complexity of your quest and the emphasis you want to put on the vow in your story. That's the biggest thing, is the amount of emphasis you want to put on that.
Mhm.
Um, you'll perform specific moves to advance towards your goal. For example, as you travel across perilous lands, you undertake a journey and mark progress when you successfully reach waypoints. So here's an example of undertake a journey. When you travel across hazardous or unfamiliar lands, and so like this bold part is what you're looking for when you're like, do we trigger a move? It's like,
Mm.
all right, so we're gonna set out. Are we setting out to travel across hazardous or unfamiliar lands? Because I feel like maybe these are hazardous or unfamiliar lands.
Mhm.
Or you could also argue that like, no, we've been here, like we've been in this town, we grew up here, like we know the area, we live here. Like he just told us to go to this cave at the end of town. I think we'd be familiar enough with it that we don't really need to undertake a journey to get there. We can just get there. It depends. It depends on how you want to frame the story and how you want to um like what you're interested in putting in the story. If you want to just skip to it because it's not interesting to like undertake a journey to this place that's like 45 feet out of town, then you don't have to. The game like specifically tells you unfamiliar lands for that reason. So first determine the rank of your journey. Ask the oracle if unsure. So that's another thing that you can do. If you're like, okay, we're gonna do this. Where do we want to put it? I don't know. Let's ask the oracle. Like, oh shit, we got an epic journey. Goddamn. Okay, well. So this breaks it down. So a troublesome journey gives you 3 progress per waypoint. Dangerous is 2. Formidable is 1. Extreme is 2 ticks. And epic is 1 tick. What does that mean? We'll look at the ticks and progress boxes here in a minute. Then for each segment of the journey, roll plus wisdom. If you are setting off from a community with which you share a bond, +1 on your initial roll. On a strong hit, you reach a waypoint. If the waypoint is unknown to you, envision it, ask the oracle, and then choose one. You make good use of resources, mark progress. You move at speed, mark progress, and take +1 momentum, but suffer +1 supply. So this one offers you,
Mm.
on a strong hit, it offers you a choice. Either you just mark progress, or you mark progress and take the momentum, but at the cost of supply. And
Man,
yeah. Okay.
video's cutting out tonight, man. I don't know what's up.
That's okay. We'll just roll through it. It's fine. On a weak hit, you reach a waypoint and mark progress. Reach a waypoint and mark progress, but you suffer -1 supply.
So
So
is
you still
supply
mark
tracked like momentum is?
supply. So there is. I'm trying to remember. It's supply, health, and spirit. I think.
Mm.
Where are the stats? Oh yeah, health, spirit, and supply. They're at the top of the character sheet. So it's three things. Health is like your physical health. Spirit is, obviously
Sure.
your spirit. It's like a mental health kind of thing. And then
Morale.
supply, yeah, morale.
Mhm.
Supply is then your like equipment and like the stuff that you have with you. At a certain point, you just run out of stuff. If you're on a really long
Sure.
journey and you don't have supply, then you're gonna run out of shit and it's gonna start causing a lot of problems.
Cool. I'm
Um,
excited to start reading about what these like italicized events are, like pay
yeah,
the
so
price and strike and clash and milestone.
I'll build out handouts in Roll20 that have the rules for each of the moves. I have them
Sure.
set already from the other campaign that I was doing.
Cool.
So I'll put in handouts for Roll20, and I'll probably show. I'll probably make a little video or do it on like a stream tomorrow or something, showing like how to set this stuff up in Roll20. Um, but for right now, all I have is the base game, and then we have 2 character sheets. So, yeah. On a miss, you are waylaid by a perilous event. Pay the price. So again, you miss, you pay the price. Like it's gonna, there's consequences. It's bad. Um, similarly, when you fight, you strike or clash to inflict harm on your foe. To move forward in your quest, you must reach a milestone. You must use the reach a milestone move. These incremental moves let you amass advantages to have the best chance of success when you're ready to resolve the challenge. Here's how the ticks and the progress work. When you successfully move towards your goal, you partially or fully fill in a box on your progress track. You will fill progress boxes with lines called ticks. A full progression box consists of 4 ticks in a star-shaped pattern. You don't have to draw them in a pattern; it doesn't matter. When a move
I
tells,
don't.
but
It says a
they are in the
pattern,
game.
man. I don't know.
I'm just telling you, you don't have to. Like, that's a weirdly specific rule, but okay. That being said, the Roll20 character sheet does do them in a pattern, so sure. When a move tells you to mark progress, fill in the appropriate number of ticks or progress boxes based on the rank of your challenge. So, like we said on up here, where it says like troublesome journey, 3 progress per waypoint, formidable 1 progress per waypoint, extreme 2 ticks. That's what these ticks are. This is what it's referring to. So troublesome is 3 full boxes, dangerous is
Mm.
2 full boxes, formidable is 1 full box, extreme, and then epic. So on epic, you only do 1 tick. You only mark 1 tick per like progress. So if you're
Mm.
trying to fill up all of the boxes,
Ah, I see.
yeah, every progress track has the same number of boxes. It doesn't, the number of
Wow.
boxes doesn't change. It's always 10.
I
What
see.
changes
That makes
is how
sense.
many you fill in depending on how hard you make it. So like I said, like Odysseus on his epic journey, right? Each one of those little
Mhm.
tiny stories is 1 tick on those boxes.
Sure. Yeah.
So that gives you an idea. And then since there's only 10 boxes, if you're doing a troublesome journey, if you get 3 if you, what is it called, mark progress, yeah, if you mark progress
Yeah.
3 times, you have 9 boxes filled, so you only have 1 empty box. There you go. See, if you're making progress towards your bonds progress track, this is like the social links kind of thing. You always mark 1 tick unless a move tells you to unless a move tells you otherwise. Bonds are not given a challenge rank, and they're explained more on like a little bit later. But yeah, so the only time that it's different is like the social move, bonds. it's basically like the game doesn't let you like mechanically fast track friendship with somebody. And the reason is because there's a
Gotcha.
lot of time bonds help you mechanically with other roles. So if you just build up a bunch of bonds, then it's easy to get bonuses to stuff. So, right. Progress moves. So, progress moves are how you actually complete something. There are 4 moves called progress moves, which utilize progress tracks to resolve the outcome of a goal or challenge. To resolve a quest, you fulfill your vow. So you forge an iron vow, and then you do a bunch of stuff. And then once you have enough boxes that you feel like you're pretty confident, then you would use fulfill your vow. Same thing for what's the journey one called again? Undertake a journey.
Mm-hmm.
You would fill up a bunch of boxes, and then when you're ready, say like, all right, I think we're like at a good point, like narratively, and I think we have enough progress. I basically what it works out to is I think we've spent enough time exploring like this particular like part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Let's roll and see what happens. You would do reach your destination. Same thing with fights. When you retire from your life as Ironsworn, write your epilogue. So there's a move to like retire your character to like, all right, I think we've like done enough with this person's story. Let's see how it plays out. And then you can use the write your epilogue move to like, all right, how does my character story end? It's pretty cool.
Okay.
And here's an example.
So,
Sure.
so if you write your epilogue, do you roll like a oracle die to see how it turns out?
It's a move. So there's a thing that you roll with like stats and stuff, just like reach your destination.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, so this is reach your destination. This is example from the example for the undertake a journey.
Mm-hmm.
So you undertake a journey, you go, you fill out stuff, and then once you're like enough boxes filled in that you're confident, when your journey comes to an end, roll the challenge die and compare to your progress. Momentum is ignored. So instead of doing an action roll, when you go to resolve a progress track, you take the number of boxes that you have completely filled in and you compare that to 2 challenge die. So let's say like we did the undertake a journey and we had 9 boxes filled in. We would first of all know how many boxes we have filled, and we would say, okay, well, I think like we have 9 boxes, like this is fine, right? There's a chance that you roll a 10, but like it's fine. It's fine. So you roll the die and we get 6 and a 5, like whatever. We get a 6 and a 5. So that'd be a strong hit. A strong hit in the your situation. On a strong hit, the situation at your destination favors you. Choose one. Make another move now and add +1, or take +1 momentum. So let's say like we're going to a town to like we're trying to hunt somebody down, and we're going to a town where he was like rumor was he was last seen there. So we get to the town. We do the undertake a journey. We reach our destination. We get a strong hit. We could then immediately, without having to do anything else or like do a bunch of narrative setup for the next scene, you can immediately make a move to like gather information about about this guy, and we could add a +1 to it. Or we could just take the +1 momentum. Like, okay, we made good time. Like. We made good time, like we're still here. Maybe the guy didn't like get out of town ahead like before we got there. Maybe that's what the momentum represents. Or maybe he had to like get out of town quickly. But again, you'd have to like find out what that means. On a weak hit, you arrive but face unforeseen hazard or complications. Envision what you find. Ask the oracle if unsure. Again, roll the die, have fun, see what happens. On a miss, you have gone hopelessly astray, your objective is lost to you, or you were misled about your destination. If your journey continues, clear all but 1 filled progress and raise your journey's rank by 1, if not already epic. So, getting a miss on these progress tracks is real bad. So, doing like a 1 tick of progress on an epic one and then being like, I'm gonna roll for it. Like, no, don't do that.
Hmm.
Just don't.
Right.
It's
So you
you're giving
only
up on
roll
something
on the
basically.
progress moves when you have advantage on your momentum, or not your momentum, but your filled out. Um, what do they call them?
Progress
Hang
checks.
on.
So
Okay, so like the squares towards your quest, right?
yeah, so like let's look at
Okay,
the
cool.
character sheet real quick.
Yeah.
But
So you only want to do it if you've got like 5 or more of those guys filled out, right?
yeah, so let's say like when you click on the boxes on the vows, you can like just put in like the hashtag is like the full one. Like let's say we have a vow that's like this, and the name of the vow is to save the rain forest, whatever. I don't know. Threat is global warming. Cool. And we're gonna say
Mm,
that this is extreme. Sure, why not? And we've been working
real
on it.
problem.
It's epics, and we've been working on it for a hot minute. But like, I feel like we've done like enough, right? Like that's
Hmm.
a fair number of boxes.
Elon Musk has started the solar farms. We're solid.
Yeah, it seems good. So let's go ahead and fulfill our vow. So I'm gonna click, and it's gonna show up in chat right here. Fill your vow to save the rainforest. So in the challenge die rolled a 7 and a 1. So we beat the 1, we didn't beat the 7, so we got a weak hit to save the rainforest.
Mm.
Well, that's not ideal.
Hmm.
Huh.
So what happens in that situation? Let's look at this again.
So we would look at again, I don't have the handout for this. We would look at the move for fulfill your vow. And then fulfill your vow would tell us
Ah,
like on a weak hit what we
gotcha.
do on that.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually it's going to be like there's an unforeseen complication or something like that.
The Amazon for sure.
Yeah. So like this just goes into like how does that roll work, which we already pretty much explained.
Hmm.
Um the next thing is harm. Inflicting harm represents physical damage and fatigue. Inflict harm on your foes in combat. When you endure harm, when you are attacked or fail to overcome a physical hazard or ordeal. Inflicting harm. When you successfully attack a foe with strike or clash moves, you inflict harm. You have a cousin that lives there. Yeah, but which rainforest? Don't worry about it. Anyway, all of them. That's why it's epic. You may have an option to
Oh.
inflict harm through the choices you make in a move. So yeah, in combat, this is typically when this is going to happen. You might also take harm as a result of a like out of combat thing that you're trying to do. Like the classic example of the rogue trying to I'm gonna we're in the middle of a bar brawl and I'm gonna flip over the table and I want to jump on top and then like jump over at this guy and on the other side of the thing. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, you might if you screw up that, if you get a miss on it, you might take harm. Or you might on a weak hit, you might take harm, but like manage to land on the guy. As an example. Um when you face physical injury or hardship, make the endure harm move. As part of that move, you reduce your health track by amount of the harm suffered. There are 5 ranks. So depending on the like level of threat of the thing that you're working on, like if you're in the middle of an actual fight, usually the difficulty track of the monster or whatever it is that you're fighting is going to be tied to the troublesome, dangerous, formidable, blah 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 blah, and then the rank of that is going to be the amount of harm that you take.
Hmm.
So if you're an attack from a legendary foe or mythic power or horrific injury or a consuming effort, like all of that kind of stuff, like I lift the mountain off of my friend. Like, okay, cool, yeah, like you might just outright die doing this thing that you're trying to do.
Hmm.
Um, when you're fighting a foe, they inflict harm based on their rank. So all foes have a rank. Samples are towards the back of the book. If you're at 0 health, a miss on endure harm move puts you at risk from suffering a debility or dying. So this is where the debilities come from. You can recover health through rest and recuperation using moves such
Peg
as
leg.
heal, make camp, or sojourn. Potentially. I mean, there's
Yeah.
specific abilities, but sure, potentially, why
Yeah.
not? We can just call it
Hook
what we want.
hand. Yer.
Stress. So stress is basically a mental version of harm. It tracks pretty much the same thing.
Ooh. Yeah, you
It's
got the character sheet on food. Switch back to the rule book.
oh, thank you. I'm not used to having to flip back and forth between this as much.
Yeah. No
So
sweat.
sorry for those looking at it. This is in the indoor harm thing. So troublesome is 1,
Mhm.
dangerous is 2, formidable is 3, extreme is 4, and epic is 5. So look at the creature you're fighting. If it's a formidable creature, whenever you indoor harm, the base amount is going to be 4, or base amount is going to be 3. And then the indoor harm move tells you like how much you take and all that. Stress represents mental burden. Similarly, there is a indoor stress move. It'll also tell you'll roll against something, and there's challenge die and the same thing as usual, and it'll tell you like what the results of it are. So this will typically how this works is like you'll do a move and say like I want to clash with the enemy, and you get a miss. You get a miss. It'll tell you like on a miss indoor harm, and then you make the indoor harm roll, and you might just take the damage. You might take the damage and also lose like supply or choose to lose momentum and take less damage, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Indoor stress is the same thing with a different stat. It's pretty much the same thing. When you endure stress,
Mm.
you reduce your spirit track by the amount of the stress suffered. If you're at 0 stress, you are in danger of suffering a debility or falling into desolation. So instead of like physically dying, you'd fall into desolation. You can recover spirit by relaxing when you make camp, finding fellowship when you sojourn, or when you forge a bond. Unlike harm, you do not inflict stress on others, at least not mechanically. Haha. If you attempt to frighten or demoralize another character, make an appropriate move to see what happens. So stress is usually a consequence for like you screwing up a move or for like supernatural creatures. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Assets. So here is the fun part that everybody loves to dive into with character creation and all this kind of stuff. Here are choices for how you build characters. That's what assets are. They're a key component of your character. They give you additional options and bonuses when making a move and may include their own special moves. When you create your character, on page 31, you select your starting assets. When you fulfill your vow and gain experience, you can advance is a move, to spend your experience
Ooh.
on new assets or upgrade current assets. So advance is basically level up. It's basically the same thing. When you fulfill your vow, you gain experience and choose to advance. So when you do the fulfill your vow, depending on the rank of the vow you're fulfilling, that dictates how much experience you get. So an epic vow being fulfilled gives you a ton of experience, which can let you use the advanced move to buy a ton of assets. You can mix and match assets however you like. There are no designated assets based on a character, class, or roles. There are no classes in this game. However, you should avoid picking the same asset as another player. That's pretty much the only rule, is that just don't pick something somebody else has. Here's an example. This is a path. There are a few different kinds. There are companions, paths, combat talents, and rituals. Those are the types of
Ooh.
assets. This is a path. So most assets include a default ability represented by the filled in circle. If it doesn't have a starting ability, you get to pick one. So some of these will have all of these circles empty. That means you get to pick one of those things. I think all of them have 3 options on here, or 3 like different things. So this is the Slayer. When you gather information by tracking a beast or horror, or when you secure an advantage by readying yourself for a fight against them, add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit. So this is basically designed to be like a Monster Hunter kind of, well, not like Monster Hunter like the video game, like a Van Helsing kind of like theme, right? So you're studying up on a monster, or like by gather information, maybe you're tracking the thing, or like asking around about it, or when you secure an advantage by readying yourself for a fight. So like you're like, okay, so I have an idea what this thing is. I'm going to like I want to secure an advantage by like trying to get together a bunch of holy water from like the local church or something, right?
Mhm.
When you do that, add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit. So normally when you secure an advantage, you would potentially get +1 momentum. That's what secured advantage is for, is to generate momentum. This gives you a +1 when you do it in a specific way. Make sense? It adds a bonus to like a like narrative thing themed around what the path is. Paths are the thing that's like most closely associated with like classes. They're not really classes because they're not as like broad. They're a little bit more focused. So they're more like the Pathfinder 2 archetypes is I think what they're most similar to. They're like kind of narrow, kind of pretty well defined things. And then there's other options on here. Assets usually modify moves by giving you a bonus or allow you to use a move in a different way. Some assets include their own unique moves. As you gain experience, you can purchase upgrades for your assets. When you purchase an upgrade, you fill in a circle to show that you now have that ability. So you would get the baseline gather information and secure advantage effect from Slayer. And then if you fulfilled a vow and you wanted to spend your experience to advance, then you could purchase the second part of it or the third part of it.
Okay, so just to be clear, if I'm making a character in this game,
Mhm.
I'm not necessarily picking a path immediately, but I'm picking vows.
So when we start, you're going to get 3 assets, and you can choose any combination of whatever you want. You can take 3 companions if you want. You could take 3 different paths. You could take 3 combat talents. You could take 3 rituals. You could take 2 companions and a ritual. You could take 2 combat talents and a path. You could take whatever combination of those things you want.
Combat talent, path, ritual, companion.
Those are the 4. Yeah, you can pick
Okay.
3 things, and you can make them whatever
Gotcha.
you want.
Okay.
And like the paths, by the way, they're not like just combat stuff either. They're pretty damn broad. So
Gotcha.
we'll look at those when we get to actual like character creation here in a little while. Maybe if we get to it tonight. Actually, we're making pretty good progress here. We're on page 23 of 270. Oh, sorry, 33. Anyway, but like I said, a lot of this book is tables. So once we get the core idea of what's happening, we can like move on. Some moves may also prompt you to roll on a table to generate results between 1 and 100. There are also a set of creative prompts in Chapter 6, which you can use to reveal details, trigger events, and guide the actions of other characters in your game. These oracles, so these are the oracles, help you answer questions in solo play or co-op, or provide inspiration for the DM in guided play. Rolling an oracle die, basically it's just 1 through 100. You can do 2d10s and just take the number and blah blah blah. There's also in the character sheet just like a button for like oracle rolls, and you just pick what table you want to roll on, and it'll like tell you. Roll20's got it set up real nice. You might want to use a special set of dice for your oracle rolls, shared by everyone at the table, and to make these dice feel special and unique. If you have any fancy dice, if you have any like fancy D10s, maybe like those are the ones that you use or whatever. I don't know.
You got some fancy D10s, Fuge?
No, we're playing online, Dylan.
You can roll them in person. I don't care. Just get a separate camera for your dice rolls so it's angled like straight down, and you've got to make it like hitting an area.
I do have. I don't know if you're going to be able to see these very well on camera. I do have these.
That's pretty cool looking.
I have these fancy Shadowrun dice.
They look like runes.
That's the one. Check that out.
I like that. That's pretty sweet.
It won't focus too well, but there you go.
Yeah, you got to back it off a bit.
Yeah. Well, if I back it
Those
off,
are
then you can't
cool.
see it.
I
Yeah,
like
those
them.
are Shadowrun
I like
dice. I bought those. I bought those at PAX South 2015, 2016. I don't remember.
Nice. I've been
It's the
meaning
one.
to
It's the
try
one
and check
Muffin
that
went
out
with me.
sometime. Oh, really?
Yeah, he slept
PAX
on
out
my couch.
San Antonio, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So it's cool. But I don't own any. Those are actually the only dice that I own.
Those are
No,
the
that's not true.
only
I have a
dice that
giant.
you.
I have a
Do
giant metal D20 somewhere that Jutsi gave
I was
me.
about to say, I was like, if you don't have a D20,
I
then you
have a
can't even
giant
be
D20
playing this
that's
game.
like actually like it's going to be really hard to get a frame of reference, but it's like the size of my palm. Like it's real heavy and it is like fucking solid metal. I roll that thing and every time I'm like I'm going to break my desk. Like this is going to put a giant dent in my desk.
Starts like rattling, everything starts to
Yeah.
shake.
I don't know where that thing is, but we'll find it at some point.
I'm
Or maybe I
surprised
won't
you
because I've lived
lost
here
it.
for 3 years and I don't know where it's at. So
The
maybe I won't.
size of an apple.
Yeah. So seeking answers. Yeah, this is the whole Ask the Oracle thing. This gives an example. When you seek to resolve questions, discover details in the world, or determine how a character responds, or trigger events, encounters or events. You may draw a conclusion. Blah blah blah. Ask yes/no questions. Pick two. Envision two options. Rate one as likely, and roll on the table below to see if the other is true. If not, or if it's true, pick the other. Spark an idea, brainstorm, blah 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 blah. So basically how this works is the table over here is you pick like is the thing like likely to happen? Like okay, maybe this happens, but like I don't know, let's roll for it. Is it like storming today? I don't know. Sure, let's find out. How likely is it? It rains a lot here, so let's go with likely. So then you would roll your 2d10s, and if it's a 26 or greater, then it's yes. If it's almost certain something's going to happen, if you roll an 11 or greater, then it's a yes. Otherwise,
So when you roll
then
the
it's
two
no.
D10s, it's percentile, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just making sure,
Yeah.
because otherwise it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. So if you're like an example of this would be like I'll use a D&D example. Let's say that like you're GMing and a player is like, "Okay, I want to go into this like fairly large town in this like high magic setting and I want to try to find this specific magic item.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see if it's here." Well, if you're like, "Okay, well, it's high magic setting, so like it's going to be a little bit more common. So like let's bump it up to like let's bump it up to like likely, and then like it's a very large town that's like a giant trade hub and like there's tons and tons of magic shops. Like okay, let's bump it up again to like almost certain." And then you would just roll and see like, "Okay, yeah, all right, there's one in the town." You might not tell the player ahead of time, but if you wanted a like way to frame that mentally for like how to do that, you can use this. You can even use this in other games too. All you need is 2d10 and then just like likely, unlikely, like whatever. Like just give yourself a way of like measuring likely, uncertain, whatever. It gives you rough ideas for percentages, and then you just roll the die and see what happens. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll probably use this for like if we get stuck on something or try to figure out like what we want to do. If you're playing with a DM, they're the Oracle.
Gotcha. And so this is kind of the idea of playing against the game, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, that's one of the things where it's like, okay, well, do we want to just say this is in the game? Like, nah, let's roll for it and see if like this is a thing that's in this town. Like, I think it's unlikely that this is here. Like, should we roll for it? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, and oh, it is nice. More randomness. You find a set of random tables in chapter 6. These provide inspirational prompts and random results for common situations. Blah 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 blah. Trust your instincts. These random generators will never replace your own imagination and intuition. If it's interesting, dramatic, and pushes the story forward, make it happen. Too much reliance on random generators to answer questions about what happens next can kill the momentum of your game or make it feel disconnected and incoherent. This is also a thing that I ran into when we were relying too heavily on rolling on the Oracle tables to try to figure out like what happens next. There was a certain plot twist that happened that like I failed a roll and I also rolled doubles, so it was a miss. So it was like, all right, we need to do a hard plot twist, like bad. And we rolled on the Oracle table like 3 times and I just like couldn't come up with something. So finally we just winged it and just said, you know what, like I don't have anything for this. Like, fuck it. Did we just skip it? Like, okay, we just skip it. Like, all right, things go bad, blah, blah, blah. I don't have another plot twist. Like, this scene's gotten entirely too complicated because I've failed like 8 rolls in a row. So, like, maybe we don't need a plot twist here. So that's what this is like basically going around. Bonds are connections to other players. The most important things about bonds are when your adventure is complete and you write your epilogue, tally your bonds and make a progress roll to wrap up your character's story. So basically what this game is saying is when you write your epilogue, basically when your character story is done, the way you track how well your character goes off into that sunset is by how many people's lives you've touched. The bonds. So like the number of people that you've helped, the number of people that you've like, the network of friends and acquaintances and other things that you've made in the world is how well you're set up for living out the rest of your life when you choose to retire. It makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. And I really like it as a marker of like interactions with NPCs and making bonds with people in the story rather than just, well, now I have a castle in 50 billion gold, so obviously I retire wealthy and great. Like, yeah, that's good. I get that. But like, there's going to be like political drama. Like, you just suddenly took over a castle. Like, you just bought it. Like, there's stuff that happens, right? Like, this is like, no, man, you got friends and like, sure, shit happens, but like, you know, you got a support system and you got like a network of people around you to help you, and like it's cool. Like you work stuff out. From there on in, you work stuff out. Or maybe you roll really badly and you just end up dead in the gutter. I don't know. Whatever. That's why there's dice, right? Other characters, there's allies and companions. There are basically allies are the other player characters. Companions are NPCs.
Okay.
They're a little different. They're a special subset of NPCs. They can have mechanical benefits through their abilities, and they have a health track to record harm. If the text of a move refers to a companion, it means the companion asset. There's a whole thing about it. Equipment. Ironsworn doesn't really worry too much about equipment. Your supply track is an abstract representation of your general readiness, clothes, ammo, food, water, and mundane gear. So you know the whole thing where D&D is like, here's a pack full of very specific items, and you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna pull out a hammer, and like technically you don't have a hammer in your backpack. It doesn't. Nobody cares about that. Like,
Gotcha.
you don't want to look through a 47 like item list of like the crap that you carry around with you. You have gear, it's fine. You'll have a move for like I pull out stuff. I pull out this random thing that I need, and we just it's a
Gotcha.
thing. Like
And
it's
it's
just
like a
assumed.
dice roll whether or not
Yeah,
like you
like there's
actually
moves for
have it,
stuff.
right?
Like yeah, like there's moves for stuff.
Gotcha.
It's whatever. You have whatever you need on you as long as it's not completely
For the most
unreasonable.
part. Unless
Yeah.
you roll really bad, then you probably don't have it, right?
Or if you run out of supply. If you run out of supply, then
I
like
see.
maybe that
Yeah.
represents like your backpack with all of your shit in it, like falling
You
into a
tried to
river.
use that hammer as a grappling hook at some point earlier in the
Right.
journey.
Right. And so a move in that circumstance might be like you want to I'm paraphrasing the names of the moves here because I don't remember all of them. Like, you might want to face danger with, like, I'm going to face danger with my iron, and you're just going to, like, tough it out by, like, beating this door down with a hammer over and over. And you
Mhm.
roll a miss on it, and it's like, okay, well, you swing at it a couple times with your hammer, and your hammer breaks. And that might represent a penalty of, like, -1 to supply. So you do the roll, you would see, like, okay, I rolled a miss, I got -1 to supply, or I'm gonna take, like, you did the miss, and then, like, there's a couple of consequences, and, like, okay, well, I'm gonna take the -1 to supply, and you're like, okay, well, I think the -1 to supply would make sense if, like, your hammer broke, because, like, supply means your gear, like, you lose something in your equipment, and, like, you said you're using a hammer, so, like, maybe you do the, like, the -1 and your hammer breaks. And, like, oh, okay,
Okay.
yeah, that makes sense. So we'll get the, like, mechanical results, and then what our job is to, like, look at the mechanical results and then see how that narratively flows back. Like, we flow back into the narrative from there, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
For example, you need to make your way down a steep rock face. Without assistance, you make face danger move to see what happens. If you have rope, the climb's not particularly risky or uncertain. In that case, you might skip the move and just narrate the result. So that's another example of, like, okay, well, I have a rope, like,
Sure.
cool.
You don't need to make the
Yeah.
roll move, right?
Yeah.
I got it.
Specific assets can make equipment more important or relevant to your character. For example, combat talent assets represent your expertise with a particular weapon or fighting style. When you wield an appropriate weapon, you gain the benefit of the asset. Apart from assets, you can make note of equipment at whatever level of detail you like. Don't fuss over it. If you're wondering whether or not you have a particular mundane item, you can ask the Oracle. That's another way of saying, like, okay, do I have the rope? I don't know. Ask the Oracle. Is it likely? Yeah, I think it's likely that you probably have rope on you. Okay, cool. Roll on it. And nope. For some reason, I don't have rope. Like, cool. Let's flashback. Let's do a flashback scene to, like, why you don't have rope while we're going on this mountain climbing adventure. Like, how did you not think of bringing rope? Like, oh, okay, well, let's go back and, like, play this scene where, like, somebody stole my rope and I didn't realize it. Flow of play. So I'm gonna skim over this. Basically, the flow of play is on a strong, like, you're gonna play through. You're gonna narrate the stuff. You're going to use Ask the Oracle when you come up with, like, a question of whether or not you want to determine if something happens. All you need to determine is if it's likely or not, and then roll it. If you're trying to do something that's covered by a move, use the move. The move will tell you what to do. You roll the dice, find out. Strong hit. Strong hit means you're in control and you continue successfully with the narrative. Weak hit means a weak hit or a miss means you don't have control of the situation, and you're reacting to stuff. So it puts you on the back pedal. You have to react to what happens next. So here is a very handy flowchart that I wish more games had. So this flowchart basically is the structure of how this game works. So to start, envision the current situation or what you're doing, and then you can do two things. You can either ask and answer questions about the world or other characters and ask what happens next. So ask the Oracle. And then eventually you get to, when your action or the current situation triggers a move, make that move. Strong hit, you succeed, you're in control. Weak hit, you've made progress, but you aren't in control. Miss, you failed or encounter a costly turn of events. If it's strong hit, what do you do next? Go back to envision your current situation. If it's a weak hit or a miss, what happens next? Go back to ask and answer questions about the world or other characters and what happens next, and then maybe envision or, like, re-envision your situation. So that's the flow. That's the flow of, like, the entire game is this. There's another one of these for the delves for dungeons. But just as a, like, game design thing, putting this just, like, in here in the game, like, in the PDF to, like, hey, if you're kind of, like, losing track of, like, what's happening in the game, you can kind of just glance at this chart and, like, oh yeah, okay, so, like, we're right here. Like, we just did a, like, move, and it was a strong hit. Like, okay, so we should go back to like envisioning the current situation. Okay, cool. So let's just like re-describe the situation and then like reset the scene and like see what we're doing. I just want to throw it in there because like I really like that shit. All right, so what's next? We have about 48 minutes left. So here's what I think we have time to do. Here's what I think we should do here. We have time to possibly build characters, but I think we definitely have time, and I'm gonna ask for chat participation on this with the build your world section. All right. So we're gonna build out the world first, and then we'll build characters for it. It says like do it in this, but like also I think somewhere else it says like do it in whatever order you want. So, chat, are y'all ready to help us build a world?
Build the world.
All right. So we are going to jump to page. Nope, 111.
111.
All right. So, welcome to the Ironlands, vast peninsula in the Northern Ocean. Blah 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 blah. It's cold. It's dangerous. It's harsh. But what else do we know about this? Traveling a moderate distance within a single region is troublesome. A long distance within a single region or across rough terrain is dangerous. Traveling from one region to another or especially challenging terrain is formidable. And then extreme and epic, right? One end of the Ironlands to another or separate lands is epic. So here is a rough, which I'll be importing this into Roll20, but here's a rough like guide to the different zones, quote unquote, in Ironlands. What these mean and like what these are like isn't for the most part up to us. But here's a rough like idea of a like prepackaged setting, right? So the Barrier Islands, which is a chain of islands off the coast. You have the Ragged Coast, which is right next to it. Inside that, you have the Deep Wilds, which is like jungles and stuff. 4 on the southeast is the flooded lands. Above that, you have Havens, which is like the only decent area to live. Above that is the hinterlands, where it starts getting pretty hikey and pretty rough terrain. Tempest Hills are above that, lots of storms, pretty hard to navigate. Above that is the Veiled Mountains, which is like very dangerous mountains. And then above that is the solid ice of the Shattered Wastes. So then we have rough descriptions for each of these zones along with a quest starter prompt, which I love. So for example, the Barrier Islands features crushing waves and treacherous currents, jagged rocks hidden just beneath the surface, blah 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 blah. The quest starter is the Spectral Maiden appears at the bow of your ship, offering to guide you safely through the storm for a price. What does she demand of you? Right? Pretty good. Ragged Coast. A ship which set off from a coastal settlement was found washed up on shore. It is empty. The ship carried something of great importance now lost. What is it, and why do you swear to recover it? Right? I love these quest prompts. These are so cool. So we're gonna skip. I'm gonna skip the rest of these, with the exception of the Shattered Waste, because I think the Shattered Waste is super dope. That's your like high level zone. Not really. That's not really a thing, but
sure.
Look at that.
But
look at that.
Did say it was difficult.
Yeah, it's like
Traveler
desert.
returned from his journey into the Shattered Wastes with dead, frostbitten hands and extraordinary stories. The others scoff at him, but you believe. Why? What does he tell you? What compels you to see for yourself?
Yeah.
Dun,
So
dun,
like,
dun.
look at the art for this too. It almost looks, because it's black and white, it almost looks like a desert.
Picture.
But like, there's like shattered giant shards of ice all over the place. Super fucking cool. I love that. unnatural horrors breaking through the ice, piercing cold, deep crevasses plunging into darkness, discomforting stillness, vast fields of broken ice. It's like looks stumbly, nice. It's like what is it? Mountains of Madness? Yeah, it reminds me kind of like a Mountain of Madness kind of vibe. Just like in a frozen secluded area, right? All right. So here is a worksheet which I'm not going to fill out. I'm going to do in roll 20 actually. No, hold on. There's an easier way to do this. Dylan, you're going to do this in roll 20 because I need multiple windows up. So I'm going to add a handout that you can edit. And then I'm going to have you type this out. And this is going to be world truths. And chat's going to help us with this. And I need to be able to spell truths, but it looks like I can't. There we go. Save. Okay, so you should have a handout called World Truths, right? In roll 20?
Got it.
Cool. I'm going to read the prompts and I'm going to read these out, and then chat just basically like shout at me what you want. These are going to be things that are true about the world. So, and they also come with, again, quest prompts. So, all right, chat. We're going to try to go through these fairly quickly. The old world. So this is the place that we came to the place that we came from before we came to the Ironlands. The savage clans called the Skuld invaded the kingdoms of the old world. Our armies fell. Most were killed or taken into slavery. Those who escaped set sail aboard anything that would float. After an arduous months-long voyage, the survivors made landfall upon the Ironlands. So invasion of the Skuld is the first option. The second option is going to be the sickness moved like horrible wave across the old world, killing all in its path. Thousands fled aboard the ship. However, the plague could not be outrun. On many ships, the disease was contained through ruthless measures, tossing overboard any who exhibited the slightest symptom. Other ships were forever lost. In the end, those who survived found the Ironlands and made it their new home. Some say we will forever be cursed by those we left behind.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's our second option. Or the old world could never sustain us. We were too large in number. We had felled the forests. Our crops withered in the barren ground. The cities and villages overflowed with desperate, hungry people. Petty kings battled for scraps. We cast our fate to the sea and found the Ironlands, a new world, a fresh start. Something a little too real about that one. So I'm going to put a poll up in chat. New poll. What is this? The old world. Response 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, no, hold on. I'll put a invasion or sickness or overpopulation. Oh, I should not have made that 10 minutes. Hold on. End poll. New poll. Damn it, I have to type it out again. Sorry. The old world. Invasion, sickness, population. And we'll get 1 minute on the clock. Start the poll. There you go. All right, everybody in chat, you can click on the poll in chat, and you should be able to vote for which one of these things you want to be true about our world. And we'll try to go quick with these because we got like 45 minutes to do like 9 of them. Also, if you have channel points, which I believe I've turned on, if you have channel points, you can spend those on extra votes. If you would also like to use bits, you can use bits to get extra votes. This is definitely an election that you can buy. If you really strongly want something in this game, spend your money on bits and buy extra votes. All right. And it's looking like sickness one. Okay, so if you could copy paste that sickness thing and the quest starter into that truths thing there, Dylan. Into the
Okay.
handout.
Uh,
So if you're gonna start on that, I'll start on the if you're gonna get that in there, I will start on the next one.
mm-hmm.
All right, next is iron. The imposing hills and mountains of the Ironlands are rich in iron ore. Most prized of all is the star-forged black iron. Or, the weather is bleak. Iron and wind swept in from the... Wait. Rain and wind sweep in from the ocean. The winters are long and bitter. One of the first settlers complained, only those made of iron dare live in this foul place. And thus our land was named. Or... inscrutable metal pillars are found throughout the land. They are iron gray and smooth as river stone. No one knows their purpose. Some say they're old as the world. Some, such as the Iron Priest, worship them and swear vows upon them. Most make the warding sign and hurry along their way when they happen across one. The pillars do not tarnish and are even. Even the sharpest blade cannot mark them. Dylan, you gotta turn your camera back on.
Hang on one sec. So, I don't know where the sickness thing is.
What's in the PDF? It's on
but like where?
page
What page?
135. Oh, or like 124, sorry. I don't know, the PDF's weird.
No worries.
Pull, new pull. Iron. So this is why the Ironlands are named the Ironlands. Or people or pillars. Start poll, 60 seconds on the clock. Is it named for the iron ore? Is it named for the iron people that live there? Or is it named for the mysterious iron pillars? Chat, what do you think? What are you feeling? What are you about? We have one vote for pillars. Anybody else? 2 votes for pillars. A few seconds left. Not too long. With the stream delay, you might actually not see this till the chat or till the thing is over, but whatever. All right, and the vote is in, and it is pillars with 2 votes. Inscrutable metal pillars found throughout the land. Legacies. So this is about the things that came before. So, we're the first human to walk these lands. Cool. Second option. Other humans sailed here from the old world untold years ago, but all that is left of them is a savage feral people we call the Broken. Is their fate to become our own? Or, before the Ironlanders, before even the Firstborn, another people lived here. Their ancient ruins are found throughout the Ironlands. So, new poll up in chat. We have legacies, and we are the first, or the Broken, or ancient humans. Start that poll. Start that poll. Oh, whoops, not view results. All right. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the legacies? We got 2 for the broken, 3 for the broken. Anybody want to see ancient humans? Anybody want ancient ruins in the game? Anybody want to be the first people? We'll do some Star Trek shit. We are the first to boldly go where no man has gone before. Or is it no one? Boldly go where no one has gone. It's no one, right? It's not no man, it's no one.
Boldly go where no man has gone before.
Is it no man? Sexist.
Man. Yeah.
Damn. All right, 3 votes in, and we have the broken. So other families have sailed here before, and from the old world, untold years ago. So there was a group of people that came in and they settled, and now they're savage and feral people. Is their fate to become our own? Next, we have communities. So this is how developed are the communities in this setting, and what do we got? We are few in number in this accursed land. Most rarely have contact with anyone outside of our own small settings or villages, and strangers are viewed with deep suspicion. Or, we live in communities called circles. These settlements ranging in size from a setting with a few families to a village of several hundred. Some circles belong to nomadic folk. Some powerful circles might include a cluster of settlements. We trade and sometimes feud with other circles. Or, we have forged the Ironlands into a home. Villages within the haven are connected by well-trodden roads. Trade caravans travel between settlements in the havens and those in the outlying regions. Even so, much of this land is untamed.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, new poll. Rapid fire these. We have communities. And we have, we'll do steadings and circles and villages. Although, settlements sounds better than villages. I don't know. Whatever. 60 seconds on the clock. Allow additional votes. Start poll.
Dun, 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 dun.
Alrighty. All hail the poll. 1 vote for settings, 1 vote for settings. Do I see settlements? Do I see circles? Anybody want some circles? Anybody want feuding tribes? Anybody want settlements? We want infrastructure. We want travel. We want some safe areas. Do we want steadings? No. Deep suspicion of strangers. Do we want that? Do we want settlements? Do we want circles? Dylan, you can feel free to vote on these 2, by the way, if you're not.
I was the one who voted for steadings.
Oh my god. What are you feeling, chat? Because this is what we're going to be playing. So what do you guys want to see? Whatever you guys want to see in the game, the stuff that you want us to like play with and like go through and narrate, and what do you want to be about? This is what you want to vote for.
Circles
takes it with 2 to 1.
We want to see
settings.
some circles.
All right, so add in the circles.
Seems kind of
All right.
messed up.
This
Feel like
one's a little
squares
split.
had it.
Right. So this one is a little split. We have leaders. Leadership is as varied as the people. Some communities are governed by the head of powerful families, or they have a council of elders who make decisions and settle disputes. In others, priests hold sway. For some, it is duels in the circle that decide. So this is widely varied. Next, we have each of our communities has its own leader called an overseer. Every 7th spring, the people affirm their current overseer or choose a new one. Some overseers wear the iron circlet reluctantly, while others thirst for power and gain it through schemes and threats. Or lastly, numerous clan chiefs rule over petty domains. Most are intent on becoming the one true king. Their squabbles will be our undoing. So we want to have a bunch of
Squabbles.
varied leadership. Don't influence chat. Or overseers.
Squabble.
Or stop it. Or clan chefs. I love shapes. I don't know what the I love shapes is in reference to.
It's because he was saying circles, and then I said,
Oh,
"What
yeah.
about squares?"
Oh my gosh.
Do.
Alrighty. Let's get them votes in chat. You do not have to everybody gets one vote. I see we got a handful of viewers here and only like 3
Clan
votes on each one.
chefs.
Just tell me what you want. Tell me what you want to see. Put them votes in on the poll in chat. You don't have to spend bits. You can just do that if you want to get extra votes. If you want to like sway the votes. Also, you should be able to use channel points. I don't know that I have channel points on. I'm pretty sure that I do. Channel points you get just by watching the stream. Oh, Overseers. Overseers is the winner with 2 votes. All right. So it's more like elections and stuff, right? Basically, like every 7th spring, so every like 7 years, they vote on like a new overseer or keep the current one. It's pretty neat. Next we have defense. Here in the Ironlands, supplies are too precious, and the lands are too sparsely populated to support organized fighting forces. When a community is threatened, the people stand together and protect their own. Or, the wardens are soldiers, guards, and militia. They serve their communities by standing sentry, patrolling surrounding lands, and organizing defenses in times of crisis. Most have strong ties to their community, and others, called free wardens, are wandering mercenaries who hire on to serve communities and protect caravans.
You forgot to read the last one.
Sorry. Thank you, Cowie. Our bands are rallied to. The last one is our war bands are rallied to strike at our enemies or defend our holdings. Though not nearly as impressive as the armies which once marched across the old world, these forces are well trained and equipped as their communities can imagine. The banners of the war bands are adorned with depictions of their old world history and Iron Land victories. So we have new poll. Question is defense. We have crappy militia. And then we have wardens. This is the Witcher option. And then the third one is war bands with banners from the old world. We're gonna go with
Old world banners.
Roman legions. Sure.
Ooh,
I'm gonna
that
just
seems
slowly
like way
devolve
more
into,
than what the
like-
war bands say.
I mean, maybe. We're
The
just
Roman
like
Legion
slowly
compared to
devolving
war
into-
bands, I don't know, man. I'm just saying.
Okay, fine, whatever. But I'm not changing the. I'm not changing. People are already voting.
Crappy militia.
Crappy everybody wants crappy militia. Hot damn! Everybody does want crappy militia.
Yay!
All right, 30 seconds left on the vote. Anybody not voted yet? Holy shit! Somebody's spending channel points. They really want. Okay, look, nobody's voting for anything else. Stop wasting stuff on crappy militia. Okay, cool. 15 votes for crappy militia. All right. 0 votes for The Witcher and 0 votes for Roman legions. All right, crappy militia takes it. No shit. Thank you for the 1,600 channel points you spent on the thing that was already going to win. I still appreciate it.
Don't worry. We had to make sure.
Feels really strongly about that. And which is going to be funny because there's probably going to be one in here later that's like, ooh, I really want that. And then he doesn't have any channel points left. But hey, that's a
thing.
That's a different problem. That's a him problem. Mysticism. Magic. Some still find comfort in the old... Or is this religion? I don't remember. Some still find comfort in the old ways. They call on mystics to divine the fortune of their newborns or ask them to perform rituals to invoke a bountiful harvest. Others act out of fear against those who they suspect of having power. However, most folks believe true magic, if it ever existed, is lost to us now. So, low magic. You still have a billion. Nice. Or, magic is rare and dangerous, but those few who wield the power are truly gifted.
Truly.
Or, magic courses through this land as a river flows through the hills. The power is there for those who choose to harness it, and even the common folk often know a helpful ritual or two. New poll.
New poll.
Magic.
New poll.
And the options are... magic is fake, and magic is rare, and the third option is D&D.
Gandalf.
Gandalf. I mean, I didn't see Gandalf just like willy-nilly throwing fireballs, so like
Merlin.
I don't know about that. Let's third option is Harry Potter. I put Mary Potter, whatever, it's staying. Don't want to influence the polls,
Potter.
Mary Potter. It was like his cousin, don't worry about it. I did see the fireworks. It was... Well, I didn't see the animation for the fireworks, but I saw the pop-up that said fireworks. That was super dope. Nice.
Dun, dun,
Gandalf used magic every second. Yeah. I mean, maybe
all
Gandalf
day,
the
every
White
day.
did. I don't know. I just remember when he was like, "You shall not pass," and I was like, "Oh, he's a wizard."
I'll not pass. What about when he was blowing them sweet ass smoke ships?
All right, I'll give you that.
Yeah, that was magic for sure.
Elegante, don't do this. Don't. No, Dylan, why would you do this?
I love it.
Why would you three-way tie the poll? We're trying to do something.
I didn't do it. I tried to vote for magic is rare. And Mary Potter.
All right, tiebreaker. And I'm not going to put it up to chat because you can't be trusted. All right. All right, you wanted magic is rare?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm thinking of a number. No, that's stupid. We have roll 20.
Mm-hmm.
So let's ask the Oracle. What?
Can we?
We can. We can ask the Oracle.
Do it.
So let me change like 8 different things. Game transition. Cool. All right. So we go to over here. We go to ask the Oracle, and we want to do. So we're gonna do a 50-50 and say is magic rare? Yes. If not, then what's the other choice?
It's not rare.
Wait, what's my choice? Hold on.
Or
What do I
Mary
want?
Potter.
I
There's
want
magic is fake, magic is
I
rare, and
want I want I want
Mary
magic. I
Potter.
want magic is fake. I want like magic is fake, but we can still have it
Then
as an
then
option, and it's like,
why are we even
ooh.
rolling this if you want magic is fake?
Well, because you want the other one, so we'll roll it to see which one we got.
It's a
Right?
tie.
All right, so 50-50. If it's over 50, then magic is fake. If it's under, then actually no, I kind of want the Harry Potter one. So over
Mary
over
Potter.
is rare and under is Harry Potter.
Hmm.
Is it gonna prompt me here?
Da-da-da-da.
Oh, where's my? Oh, 84. It's a yes. Magic is rare.
Make up your dang
All right, so we
mind.
got magic
So
is
does that
rare.
mean magic is rare?
Yeah,
got
we got
it.
your thing.
Dun, dun, dun,
Okay, so mark that down, and you're marking down the quest starters as well, right?
What?
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, I got him.
Oh, okay. God damn it, he got me. Okay, I was like, fine, I'll go back and do it after the stream. Whatever, it's fine. All right, religion. A few Ironlanders still make signs or mumble prayers out of habit or tradition, but most believe gods long ago abandoned us. Or,
Still on the character sheet.
oh, thank you. Boop, bada boop.
Bada
All right,
bing.
so a few Ironlanders still make signs or mumble prayers out of habit or tradition, but most believe the gods have long abandoned us. Or the people honor old gods and new. In this harsh land, a prayer is simple but powerful comfort. Or our gods are many, and they make themselves known through manifestations and or miracles. Some say they even secretly walk among us. The priests convey the will of the gods and hold sway over many communities. So we have manage poll, new poll, gods, and we have no gods, and then the other one is
Called
like
atheism.
atheism. And then we have old gods and new harsh in this harsh land. A prayer is simple power comfort. Like sometimes gods, and
It's called the
then
Bible Belt.
our gods are many, and they sometimes manifest. Yeah, American gods, literally the show American Gods. Okay. Vote it up in chat. Vote it up in chat. Vote it up in chat.
Do 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 do.
I swear to all the American gods, if you tie this chat, I will be pissed. Oh damn! Somebody really wants American gods. Oh my! He's going in. He's going in. Who is it?
Ooh.
Somebody's going to 20, 25 votes, 29 votes,
Goodness. This guy.
33 votes.
He's
Somebody
going
really
all
wants
in
us
on
to
this.
do American gods. Okay.
Just gonna go ahead and fill this one out.
Yeah, you go ahead and just put that on there.
I don't think there's any recourse here.
So here's the thing: I can't spend channel points because I have unlimited channel points, but also I have access to everything that channel points are for.
Got 3 left, boys.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Bro, really? You spent 300 bits on that? Holy shit. Yes, that's a transmutation circle on Dylan's wall.
What? This guy?
I think it's the overlay. It looks kind of like a transmutation circle. Oh, maybe it's the throw on your thing. Is that a blanket? It's a blanket, right?
It's a blanket
Yeah.
with shells on it.
Nice. Top left. Oh
Top
yeah,
left.
yeah. No, that's the overlay. It's the little boxes that we're in. So that's why I have the same one on mine. And you can't see it because it's blacked out, but the Ironsworn one has one too. I wish there was a version that it included that didn't have that on there. I can probably make it though.
Oh, this side. That's my
It'll
right.
be your right.
I'm not so good at that. Yes,
Yeah,
above the pantry, I keep a transmutation circle just in case I need to cast a
just
spell.
in case. Firstborn. The Firstborn have passed into legend. Some say the remnants of the old tribes still dwell in the forests or high mountains. Most believe they were never anything more than a myth. As a reminder, Firstborn are the think of like fey creatures. These are like elves and like trolls and that kind of stuff. Firstborn live in isolation and are fiercely protective of their own lands. Or thirdly, the Firstborn hold sway in the Ironlands, and the elves of the deep forest and the giants of the hills tolerate us and even trade with us. For now, Ironlanders fear the day when they decide we are no longer welcome here.
Ooh.
Ooh. So we have manage poll, new poll. We have Firstborn.
Elves are dicks.
Firstborn. We have fake elves. Wait, no, hold on. I got this. Elves are Bigfoot. Secondly, Firstborn live in isolation, are fiercely protective. We have Warhammer Wood Elves. They do not like it when you go in the forest. It's real bad. Or Firstborn holds sway in the Ironlands and Deep Forest. They've said, Dylan, I need a creative prompt for this one.
Elves are chill.
Chill elves. This also includes like giants and stuff too, by the way. But I'm not
Elves
gonna...
and giants are chill.
Yeah. Elegante, I think you read that wrong. That is not the next vote is not on breasts. That's not what that says.
It's as close as you can get, though. Elves
All
are
right, so 2 votes, 3 votes for chill elves.
chill.
Call sign spoon bits on that. No, we're not voting on that. Again, I don't trust you guys to make responsible decisions in that scenario.
Oh.
All right. 4 for chill elves, 1 for Woodhammer. Woodhammer. Fuck. Never
Woodhammer.
mind. You don't trust me either? Yeah, that's fair. It doesn't matter if you trust me, though. It's my channel. I can just do it if I want. All right. 4 votes for chill elves. So that is the third option. Elves are chill. Next, we have beasts. So these are like animals, right? These are like dangerous animals and stuff, as opposed to like monsters. The beasts of old are nothing but legend. A few who travel into the deep forests and high mountains return with wild tales of monstrous creatures, but they are obviously delusional. No such things exist. Or monstrous beasts straw. What? Monstrous beasts stalk the wild areas of the Ironlands. Pretty simple. Or beasts of all sorts roam the Ironlands. They dwell primarily in the reaches, but range into settlelands to hunt. There, they often prey on cattle, but attack travelers, caravans, and even settlements are not uncommon. All right, so we have... Man, there's not a lot to make funny stuff with about this. Unless I go with like boob jokes for all of them, but I'm not going to do that.
Breasts are old.
Stop it.
Breasts are monstrous.
Stop it.
And breasts are of all
I
sorts.
said stop it. Hey, we don't have a contract. I can just kick you off the show.
That's fine.
No, I'm kidding. No, stay and be my friend. All right.
I know my value.
No such things. Oh wait, hold on. The beast does not exist. Monstrous beast struck the wild. Bigfoot is real. Although Bigfoot would be a firstborn, but whatever. The joke stands. Beasts of all sorts roam the Ironlands. Jurassic Park. I did not spell Jurassic right. Monstrous breast stalking.
The breast
Stop it.
does not exist. The breast is Bigfoot is real. Jurassic Park.
You made me check. I was like, did I actually type that? All right. We got 1 vote for Bigfoot is real. 2 votes. I really
Bigfoot.
shouldn't put like creative names because like it's 1,000% like swaying people on this. Oh, duh! I shouldn't have done Jurassic Park. I should have done Monster Hunter. It's 100% Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter. Jurassic Park is better than Monster Hunter, though.
I'm willing to accept that might be true, but I need an argument.
How many movies does Monster Hunter have?
Also, Bigfoot is real wins, so middle one.
What? How did that happen? Oh wait, no, that makes
channel
sense.
Points.
I voted for that one, so that makes sense.
You voted for? Why were you upset?
I don't know. I thought it was the first one because I wasn't looking at it.
All right, horrors. All right, so this is the real spooky shit. Nothing but stories to frighten children. Or we are weary of dark forests and deep waterways, for monsters lurk in those places. In the depths of the long night, when all is wreathed in darkness, only fools venture beyond their homes. Or the dead do not rest in the Ironlands. At night we light torches, scatter salt, and post sentries at the gate. It is not enough. They are coming. Darkest Dungeon. New poll.
Dungeons.
Horrors. And as a category of creatures that are in this game, horrors are like undead and like zombies and ghosts and not just undead, but also like Lovecraftian shit, like that kind of stuff.
Cthulhu.
Ghosts are fake. What's the other one? It is it as in like capital I. It was a true story. Or straight up Dawn of the Dead. Oh, that's too long. Straight up Dawn of the D. That's gonna win now that I put that. I don't. Whatever.
Dawn of the D.
Why are y'all talking about cumin? I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. You don't have to say it. But why are you talking about cumin?
Everyone loves cumin.
Give me them votes, chat. You're sitting here memeing on each other, talking about cumin. Give me the votes in chat.
Dun dun dun.
Ooh, pretty split on this one. All right. Ghosts are fake, and It Was a True Story is tied. It Was a True Story up to 3 in the lead. Oh, up to 4. Literally only talking about cumin. Get off my back. All right, fair. All right, and It Was a True Story pulls in with the lead.
It was a true story.
All right. So those are the truths of our world. I don't remember what all of them were, so I don't have them in front of me, but yeah, so these are the choices. These are informing the setting. So as we go forward and play the game, if we have a question or we need to like fill out a portion of like what is the world, what's in the world, what's about it, we can refer back to these truths to like remind us what's going on in the world. Also, if we get stuck in a particular place or we need a prompt Let's say a move gives us a particular plot twist or something. We can rely on the quest starters that the quest starters that come along with these truths as prompts for like plot twists or something that might happen. For another example, the option that we picked here with the horrors is quest starter. You bear the scars of an attack by a horror. What is it? Are those scars physical, emotional, or both? How do you seek to make yourself whole again? Okay, that's a decent like background prompt, right? Not bad.
Yeah.
All right. So we are right at the 3 minute mark here from. God damn it, Chad. We are 3 minutes off from our 10 o'clock end time, so we will be back next Monday at 7 p.m. to make our characters, which is actually reasonably quick, and then start our first session. So this has been a very quick run through of very quick 3 hours. A very quick run through of the basic rules for the system for Ironsworn. We didn't look at the Oracle tables, so if you're interested in what you've seen so far, I recommend going to ironswornrpg.com, and the full PDF that I have pulled up right in front of me, the Ironsworn Rulebook PDF, is available on there for free, along with a zip file of a bunch of other assets and stuff to like help you play the game. You can print the stuff out and play it in person, if that's a thing that you want to do right now. You can print it out and play it in person, or you can play it online on Roll20 or a bunch of other places. I will say Roll20 specifically, I don't know about other ones, does have character sheets already set up, and they're actually quite good. So the Roll20 character sheets, highly recommend, quite good. One day I'll get a sponsorship from them, or maybe they'll just hire me. I don't know, whatever. I'd take either. So, but yeah, it's a very fun game. I hope you have a better understanding of at least the core mechanisms of the game, and yeah, hope everybody finds that helpful.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, Dylan, anything you want to throw in?
No. For the last 30 minutes, I've been focusing on copying and pasting the selections we've gotten from our polls. So we'll be excited to start interacting with those as we move forward in our journey. And you're going to have to guide me quite a bit on this because, I was trying to pay attention, but there's definitely some portions I did not catch.
Chat talking about reading the PDF as an audiobook. You. What a card. Although they do sell cards, so there you go. Yeah, so yeah, guys. All right, so that's Ironsworn. Again, we'll be back 7 to 10 next Monday to hopefully start actually playing the game. I might at some point, because I don't want to spend time out of the next stream on it. I might at some point do a short stream of like setting up a map and setting up like handouts and stuff. Maybe if I feel like it, I'll do it tomorrow, or maybe I'll do it this weekend. So feel free to follow the channel if you want to see when I go live. Also, there is a Facebook page, like the Facebook page, or if you're in one of the Discords, one of the several Discords that I post in, I always post when I'm going live anyway. You'll see it. You've already seen it. So just ask me. It's fine. I'm streaming basically every day.
Nice.
So yeah, that's it. Any questions? Any comments? Any things that you want that you didn't bother saying in chat? Feel free to also just like send me a message on Twitch if you want. If you need any links to anything, whatever you want. I love this game so much, and if I can get more people playing it, I think that would absolutely be fantastic. Also, if you want, you can buy it off of DriveThruRPG, or I believe you can buy it off of their website as well. So, give him money. Give Sean Tompkins money. That way he can take more time to complete the sci-fi port of this game that he's working on. Yes, there's a sci-fi version in the works. It sounds so dope. Cool. That being said, we are right at the 3-hour mark. That's going to be it. Thanks for coming out. See you guys later. Bye.
We did it.
Bye.